Here is your podcast.
You know, I've been doing this show 9 years. In the beginning, it was great. I got to show up and just talk and leave. That was fantastic. But now Mex sends me this theme song, tells me to put my own voice in it. Lily shows up. She doesn't produce a goddamn thing. All she does is laugh, turn around, and go home. The only thing I don't wind up doing for this show is listen to it. That's your fucking job. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Folks, I'm different from you. We're different from you. We here in this building right now, me and the Lily Von Stupp producer type person who usually laughs at some of this stuff but isn't right now, she's different from you. While you're sitting there right now in your office and you're having your humdrum life going on, you got your iPod vagina plugged in, perhaps you're avoiding your boss and you don't like him and you're collating. Are you collating right now, folks? I can tell you this, I've never collated in my life. I've never collated in my life. So I'm better than you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's put it this way. You're better than me at collating. How's that grab you? Take that and run that to the fucking bank. Because I was just talking to a Lily Von Stupp and I'm like, I could not even imagine what it would be like to apply for a job right now if I had to. I've been so out of regular type workforce stuff. All the shit I've gotten was piecemeal. Either and also literally the highest highs or the lowest of the lows. Although not really lowest of the lows, but I'm writing on a television show and making a ton of cash, or I'm behind the desk at a security office and making sure that the possum doesn't kill me. I mean, that's who I am. I never had to fill out a piece of paper for either of those fucking things, quite frankly. For the writing job, I got called in and they were like, all right, well, here's the deal. Here's the job. And here's what's going on. And I said, fantastic. I think I can make animals funny in a circumspect way. And they said, all right, well, I'm really sorry. We've only got this amount. And I went, auga, and steam filled the room as it poured from my ears. And then I went, well, I think I can work with that. Absolutely. And then I floated back to my house and told my ex-wife, we made it. And then shortly thereafter, she left, and then the job went away, and I never wound up getting another gig. How you doing, collator? Take that. But we're different is my point. Lily Von Stupp and I, we are different from you. We are different from all of you.
I don't understand.
Well, it's not so much better. We're just different. Well, I mean, I will get to why. Because, again, those people are at work right now, or you're home. Perhaps you're home. You've come home from a long day at work. You've made yourself a gimlet. You've made yourself a Rob Roy. You've kicked off your shoes, you put on your slippers, you sat on the couch, you go, I'm going to listen to a podcast. And you went, hey, Alexa, play Schmitty. And then here I am bursting all through your house.
I like that you think our listeners have Alexa.
Of course they do. Well, again, that's where they're also better than me. They've got dough. My experience with Alexa, I went to my buddy Matt Weinhold's house around like Christmas Eve, I think it was. And I brought way too much. It was this weird thing where I'm like, is it a party? Can I bring anything? And did I talk about this on here?
Yes, you did.
Fuck. All right. Because I brought cucumbers and hummus and she's serving spaghetti. I'm just like, wow. I guess it's kind of sort of Mediterranean. It's there. Look, they all have olive skin. They like pasta, they like red sauce, they like hummus, they like cucumbers. We're all friends. Reach across the aisle, reach across the map. Mediterranean people and Italian people, shake hands and realize that a Christmas Eve dinner can contain both of your wares. Please do that. If someone wants to make kebab meatballs and throw them into a rigatoni, feel free.
Oh, rigatoni?
I'm on board with that. Well, what do you call it? So,
rigatoni.
Incorrect. False.
Rigatoni.
Pasta's a lot better with an extra consonant.
Is it Paschetti too?
Pasta is a lot better with an extra consonant.
No, it isn't.
It is. Tortellamamoni. That's a couple of consonants. Rigatoni. I've always called it that. So anyway, who cares? Because I'm a child.
Pronounce the curved one. The curved pasta that you make with cheese sometimes.
Macaroni? Have I said it incorrect? We make macaroni with cheese. Elbow macaroni? Because I
Elbowed macaroni?
Well, I wanted to enunciate it because you made it sound like I was saying it wrong all these years, and I'm like, I better say it perfectly this time, or she's going to mock me. Macaroni, elbow macaroni. And of course, from what I understand, the Italian guys call all the noodles macaroni.
Yes.
Hey, let's get some macaroni and Sunday gravy, ga 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 boo, and all that other bullshit. When I went to, I don't know if I told this story, when I went to Arizona for spring training this year, it was me and all the guys. And it was me and, of course, the lovely Mex, who made a trip out of his house. Not only out of his house, because he'll go out of his house to get the mail sometimes and just scowl. That's his deal. Literally, he will walk down to the curb and scowl at anybody. He scowls at air. He scowls at grass. Wherever he goes, grass dies if he stares at it. He's just, and look, I will tell you this, Mex, on the inside, sweet guy. wants you to think he's a fucking misanthropic cock. But I mean, that's his deal.
It made me laugh this week.
He's a funny guy, certainly.
Every post he would put the same post on, and it just.
Well, that's funny.
I'm just like, let people live.
No, listen to me. He's running the fucking show, and that's what I'm saying. He's a sweet guy on the inside, but at the same time, he's not above killing a plant with a glance. So that's the kind of fella he is.
Superpower.
Oh my God, he's got it. Don't kid yourself. He is. He's just. You'll look. I'll go to his house. It'll be just a black cloud around his face, and I'm like, I wonder if that's Dave. And then he'll punch me in the chest, and I go, "That's Dave," and he'll say, "Excuse me, I thought you were someone else." So I went to Arizona, and it's like all of my friends, and it's me and Dave. And by the way, thank you for everybody who's reached out and written to me and written stuff. And I'll get back to you soon if I haven't already. I answered a lot of personal correspondence, but I haven't answered a lot of social media correspondence yet. But I will.
Why?
Huh?
Why? Why don't you just answer it here?
Well, because people specifically wrote me, and I have to write to them. So I'm saying thank you.
Yeah, look, you're 4 years behind. Give up. Stop promising.
Fuck all that. That's the lazy bullshit. No, if people want to engage me, especially in this age of Patreon and every other bullshit fucking thing, I have to be accountable. So I have some new Patreon donors, and I've got to write a fucking update and make sure.
Do you have those all ready to thank today?
On the air?
Yeah, it's Patreon thank you day, isn't it?
Oh, is it? No, I thought that we were doing that in month by month. We already did May, in the beginning of May. No, we didn't. That was last week.
No, you didn't thank them. That's what I'm saying. Do you have it all ready for today?
Well, of course not. Why would I have it ready? I mean, that just seems ridiculous. But I can pull up. Well, I can pull up the Patreon page, and there are names available, and I can talk to people because there are new people from last week. As a matter of fact, our friend Manny is a new guy. Let's talk about that.
Yes, he is, and thank you, Manny.
Yeah, thank you, Manny. And our friend Francesca is a new person, and she's signed up. Good for you. And Francesca actually wrote me on Patreon. She's like, hey, this is very confusing. Like, I'm supposed to get a Facebook image or a Twitter image. So where is it? And what do we do? And how do I get it? And I didn't answer because I'm a dick bag, and I should have fucking written her back. But it's that thing where I'm like, it's so funny because Max yesterday, he's like, I have interlude homework. And he's like, all right, I need you to do this and this and this and this. And I started driving again last weekend where I was just like, I was out a lot in the car a ton. Because it's time to get the shovel out and dig the fuck out. So I'm driving a fuckwad over the weekend, and actually no, fuck ton. A fuckwad would be a guy in the back seat. A fuck ton is a lot. That's a lot of driving. I drove several fuckwads. Don't kid yourselves. I got into a fight with some chick in my fucking car. It was like so in my head it's that thing where.
Wait a minute, fist fight, verbal fight.
Oh yeah, we went at it. Yeah, I cunt punched her. Yeah, sure, that's happened. I was driving and I couldn't, because I was in motion, but I had to use the rearview mirror to plant it. And I just planted one right in the cunt. I was like, there you go, take that. Double yourself over. Take a fucking haymaker to the baby maker. Take that.
Haymaker to the baby. Oh
so that's not bad. That's like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. Let's just have a show with a guy punching women in the fucking pussies. That's fucking fantastic. Haymaker for the baby maker. Oh, that's what happens. And then you got to put a steak on your pussy. Oh, that's awful when it all.
Okay, we're done.
Why did I say that later? I could end the show. All right. Oh my God. Here, put a fucking steak on there. All right, good.
Why are you fighting with women in your car?
Well, I'm not fighting like physically, although I'm sure somebody wants a piece of me. Who, you want some? Step up. Punks jump up to get beat down, ladies. Next thing you know, I get a fucking, a Jimmy Choo heel in my temple. I crash into a telephone pole. Because everybody's rowdy and fun when they're getting in your car. Where I will tell you about how I fought with the person, but first, so let me address Patreon. I need to get there, and I need your email addresses to send you those things. I thought, but then I was telling Lily about that, and she's like, "Hey, idiot! You can just post it on the Patreon page, and they can download it themselves. You can make it just like a locked thing, and anybody who donates can go ahead and grab it." And which makes sense. It cuts out the middleman. But I'm so used to, like, Patreon won't let me post videos, so I assumed that I had to do everything in this weird way. So I will tonight, this night, and which is Tuesday, but I mean you'll hear it Thursday. I will put up the image on Facebook, or no, on the Facebook Patreon one, yeah. And if you want it, you can download it from there. And then, but I'll have to write Francesca and go, hey, all right, it's there. Don't yell at me.
Well, no. Here's how you do it. The first of the month, you put a post up and go, here's the digital file again for all of my new people. And you just post that same post.
Oh, that's right. So then I don't have to dig down into my many posts.
Just post at the beginning of the month to everyone who's new.
See, I thought this was going to be easier, and I'll tell you why.
It's work.
Well, but not so much work. We'll get to that in a second.
Again, you created too many things to have to do for what you're doing.
No. I'm very comfortable with the level of things that I have to do. I mean, because right now I got to schedule some personal podcasts. Yes. I got to do all that stuff, which is fine. I've got all that on the agenda and I got it happening. But what I mean is when I say that this is harder than I thought, again, the middleman of having to put a video somewhere else and then have it hosted by Patreon and upload it to Patreon, that blows. I thought I was just going to be able to film shit with my fucking phone and then just post it right away to Patreon, and I can't. Also,
but you can film it and post it right away to YouTube privately, and then post it into your Patreon.
yes, I know, but not from my phone. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Do all of it from your phone.
Yes, but that's a step I don't fucking need. You're not listening to me. I'm saying I get.
Listening to you.
I
I'm telling
know.
you to stop whining.
Fuck whining. I know how you're supposed to do it. What I don't understand is it's inconvenient to have to upload something to YouTube and write out all the shit and then upload it to Patreon and write it all. It's a double fucking post. I thought Patreon, I could walk and talk and fucking Sorkin something and just fucking throw it right up there for everybody. Just me on sports night and just walking and talking with somebody and go ahead and throw it up there like you can on Twitter, like you can on Facebook, where you can just upload something. But Patreon needs that extra step. So I think that takes away from the convenience of it, because I was like, I'm going to be firing away videos all day long. And I'm like, but then also I'm like, who the fuck wants to watch me eat lunch? Nobody. But then some people, well, maybe some people want to join me for lunch. I don't know, but that's going forward. We'll figure it out. But that extra step is something that kind of, that, you know, knocks my dick in the dirt, where I'm like, whatever. And also the same thing with the posting, like I can't, and all right, maybe you can help me with this. I sat down and I was like, because I see all those YouTube videos where people are just sitting at a desk. And they're just like, yeah, so here's the thing. I'm about to eat some Oreos and we'll see how good they are. And then they do that and they talk to the camera. It's a 5-minute thing and that's what they put up. And I'm like, I would actually like to do some of those things. Like even for the YouTube channel, if you did like a 5-minute movie review or a 5-minute eating, and look, everybody's doing that shit. I get it. But I'm saying, like, if, you know, maybe there's enough people out there who like me and it would generate some traffic to the YouTube, or, you know, if I ate new Oreos or whatever the fuck, or you want to watch me make a scrambled egg, who the fuck knows, man? I don't know. But the point is, I'm trying to figure out how to do things for YouTube and Patreon. So I sat at my laptop and I'm at my desk and I'm like, all right, I'll just film myself like a little movie on the little laptop. And I pulled up like a camera thing. I can't film me. There's no movie thing on my fucking thing.
Yeah, there is, but it's easier. Video. Turn it around. Prop it up. Talk to this little phone right here. Stop it. Go into movie, edit the 2 pieces of the end off, and upload it to YouTube.
Yeah, but the photo doesn't have, the camera on the phone isn't good enough. It makes you all fuzzy.
No, it doesn't.
It totally makes you fuzzy. Oh, I see. You're using your shirt to wipe off my lens. Yeah. I'm aware of how cameras work and also lenses. But you get grainy. You're a little grainy.
You get grainy because you have no light in your house.
Who needs light?
I have a camera to take selfies. I have a light for my phone to take selfies.
You fucking psychopath. All right, good for you. You have a light that you put on your camera to take an actual selfie? Yes. Are you going to go grab it?
Yes.
Why? Keep talking. All right, so where do we were talking about something else. Oh, I was in Arizona. Fuck. So Mex came out there. He's a sweet guy, and it was the UN of Evil. We all went to fucking spring training. We hung out. Dave was there, and then of course our friend. So I'll just go neck names. Den was there. Ak was there. E-Man was there. Well, look at your fancy selfie light. That looks like a little makeup mirror.
Yeah.
That looks like the kind of thing. I'll tell you what. If I went into a green room.
Look at the difference. Okay.
If I went into a green room and I saw that on the ground, I would just pick it up and do my lipstick immediately with it. That's what I would do. You're making a squinty eye face. I see the difference. Yes.
Not grainy. Not grainy. Grainy.
Yeah, that's what my face is lacking. Intense light. That's what people want. So again, whatever. So I sat down to do the fucking computer and I thought I could just talk into the actual, like, cause let's put it this way. I've Skyped with a mod, right? So when I Skyped with a mod, I was like, I can talk to him and he sees me on video. So obviously the camera fucking works or something like that, correct? So yeah. I didn't know why I couldn't use like that Skype technology to go ahead and just make videos and then post them up. What are you doing?
I'm doing a before and after photo and we're going to post it online.
You are fucking bananas.
No,
All right.
I'm not. I'm fucking, ooh, look at that face.
That's right.
All right, now we're gonna do with light. Hold on.
Oh, Jesus. Light's on the wrong way. Take a picture of yourself. Why not throw that up?
Okay.
This is an audio broadcast we just silenced to take a photo at. Jesus,
here's
fuck.
the thing. They're gonna see it online and they're gonna go, Lily's right. See, look, shadows and sadness and fuzziness. Oh yeah, that's a good looking man.
Don't post either of those fucking things.
I'm posting both of them.
All right. I gotta get rid of this beard. You know, well, are you nodding? You don't like it either? Really? You hate it? Tell me. Fucking talk.
I don't hate it. I just think that you've got really gorgeous cheekbones that make your eyes pop.
All right, enough of that nonsense.
Why are you hiding from under hair?
Blah, blah,
what
blah.
What are you hiding from?
Blah, blah,
Crawl
blah.
out from under the hair.
Blah, blah, blah.
Face the world.
All right, so I was talking about going to Arizona. We went to spring training, and Well, you're just a get off your phone. Fuck. I know you're doing your job. I know you're doing your job. This show, literally, year 9 has devolved into me yelling at Lily about going on the phone when she's trying to do her job. Yeah, well, yeah, because also that's the trick that people use with those before and after fucking fat guy photos, because he's smiling in the good one and he's frowning in the bad one.
Okay, do you want me to take another picture?
I don't give a fuck. Just put it up. Do what you're gonna do. You're the boss. Fuck Tony Danza. You're the boss. So I went to Arizona, man, and I was there for spring training, and we had to make spaghetti. Or so Ox there, Mex, Woj, E-Man, Kenny B, me. Were there a few more people there? No, I can't remember. But the UN of Evil showed up, and we had on the last night we were just going to make a feast in the house. We are going to make spaghetti. And so Dennis is like, oh man, I'm totally going to make my Sunday gravy. I'm going to make it because Dennis's last name is Italian. It ends in an I. So you're like, all right, well, he fucking knows something about spaghetti sauce. So Mex is kind of a stickler for fucking like authentic spaghetti sauce. Like I think Mex can actually makes real spaghetti sauce. And I have a good recipe for spaghetti sauce that I make, but it's not, this is the thing. It's not a meat sauce. It's not a gravy. It's none of those things. It's literally just a pure red sauce. I have a recipe for a pure red sauce. It's just.
Is it made of the blood of your enemies?
It's just, it's tomato, it's crushed San Marzano tomatoes and it's onion and it's butter and it's just, and basically that. And you steep it and you simmer it and you cook it for, a couple hours. And I'm not going to go into all of my secrets, but I'm going to tell you there's some things in it that make it all good. So we were going to make pasta and Dennis was like, well, I'll make like a meat sauce. And I'm like, well, I'll make my sauce. And because I've honestly, I've been waiting to make it for a long time. Like I can't make it at my house because I'll have to fucking jar it and put it in my goddamn fridge. Yeah. I made it once for Christmas and we had a group, there was like only 5 people over for Christmas. And maybe, because I made like meatballs and there was like 25 meatballs I made and I think only 2 of them got eaten. So then we just had to fucking freeze the shit out of all the meatballs and the sauce. So I've been wanting the sauce for a while, so I made it. So they go to the store to buy a bunch of stuff for to make the spaghetti sauce. And they come home and they start unpacking stuff. And Dennis pulls out jars of Prego from the bag. And I'm not kidding. I'm sitting on it because we were in the house that we rented. We rented this fucking badass house with like 6 bedrooms. It was fucking cool. So we're sitting there, and Mex is across from me. He's like on the couch, and I'm on a chair. And he starts unpacking it, and I look at Mex, and I go, hey. And I think it was even silent. He looks at me, and I make eye contact, and I go, like I'm gesturing with my head. And he looks over, and he sees the Prego, and he looks at me, and he's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And so we're like, Dennis, what's the Prego? He goes, oh, that's the base of the sauce. Like that's the base, but then you got to, then you jazz it up with like other stuff. And Mex and I are just like, we're going to murder you. Like, I mean, your last name is fucking, it ends in I. I mean, it's your last name ends in I. There's a nooch in there. All right. So we figured you knew what the fuck was up with spaghetti sauce, man. We deferred to you. You're the mouthy Italian guy of the group, the UN of Evil. This is what you're going to serve as Prego? Get the fuck out of here. But the thing is, I should have been clued up, and this is completely serious. His mom, like, his dad was like, super Italian, like real Italian, Mr. B. But dude, I don't know where his mom was from. I think it was from I Can't Cookistan. I mean, I have no idea for sure, but dude, she made like the worst, like you go to their house. And it was this, it was great because it was an Italian table. So like grandma would be yelling at Mrs. B and then Mr. B would be just there kind of going, all right, whatever, and having a beer. And she would go, you hungry, Mike? And then she would just pull out like, there would be like hot dogs and a steak and some cream spinach and some potatoes from 3 days ago. She's just pulling all the leftovers out and just putting it on the table. And then she's like, I'll make you a plate. But not like, she didn't make me a good plate. Like in the movies, you go to an Italian mom's house or a Jewish mom's house and they're like, hey, I'll make you a plate. And they made their own fucking, crepe lock or fucking matzo balls or fucking pasta or gravy. But she would like heat up a ballpark frank for you and then like chop it up with creamed corn, like that kind of thing. She'd be like, hey, I'll make you a plate. And I lived there for a while. When I got tossed out of my fucking house, I lived at Dennis's house and, you can't say anything because they're lovely people and they're showing you and I fucking love them. I literally, they took me in when I was fucking thrown out. They're my closest friends' parents. And, but it was this running joke where like, you want to eat? And I was like, you couldn't say no really. Cause at that point she's already getting out the ants on a log. And I'm like, wait, this is not a fit dinner for anyone for fuck's sake. But she would do it. Or she'd make like, she'd have like scrambled eggs left over from like 2 days before that are in the fridge, like that kind of horse shit. And then stuff would be frozen. Like she'd take like I saw her one time, she took a steak out of the freezer. She goes, you want a steak? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And she's like, I'm making steak. She put the steak in the microwave and she thawed it like all the way out. And then she put it in the frying pan and just let it, and all she did was she just burned, she cooked for like 25 minutes. And she made a shoe is what she did. She just literally, and here's the thing, when she took it out, I didn't really get a good look at it. It may have been a shoe. There's a very good chance she pulled out a Chuck Taylor Chuck ribeye, whatever the fuck, and just threw it in the goddamn microwave. Because, but that was a good thing, because one time she took out like pork chops, frozen, and just threw them in the frying pan. Frozen. So then they already have freezer burn, and now you're fucking them up on the flame with not taking care of them the right way. And you wonder how I got fat, like eating over there. You know what I mean? And thank God they had a freezer full of Tombstone pizzas we did when we go over and fucking watch porn. God, that was so weird. We watched porn. I think about that now, and like we all watched porn in their basement, and they knew. Like, I don't know if Mrs. B knew, but Mr. B knew, because he'd come down occasionally and poke his head in. But there's like 6 dudes with just like watching porn on a TV in a basement. We'd rent it from the fucking porn house.
That's weird.
It is weird.
I used to watch porn with my friends.
But did you? Yeah, but then but you guys all stripped off and made out.
No.
No, come on.
Not always.
We were having a discussion earlier about lipstick lesbians, and I was like, and Lily's like, yeah, I don't know if that's a good term, and I don't know, and I go, no, it's good for lesbians. They should wear lipstick, and she's like, for you. And I go, yeah, for me. What about it? And she goes, well, that's you. You're judging all lesbians and think they should do what you like. And I'm like, well, fuck yeah, of course.
That's not how it works.
Yeah,
Sex life is not your personal whack-off pad.
Incorrect, first of all. Second of all, I mean, if women want to, if you're going to be a lesbian, then just fucking go the whole route, man. Wear the fucking heels and the crazy skirt.
We go the route that makes us happy.
Don't dress like a construction worker is my point. I don't need you dressed like a weed dealer if you're a lesbian.
Yes,
Tart it up a little bit.
You don't need anything from me when
I got news for you. Bullshit. You're a lesbian. You're trying to get other lesbians. You know what? Girls like girly stuff. So go ahead and put some spray in, get some cotton candy hair, throw on some fucking makeup, and wear a fucking dress with some cleavage.
So you're gay now. What is it that you're looking for in another guy? Another butch guy?
Well, if I'm a gay dude, I got to go ahead and wear like a fucking pink pants, and I got to throw on like a flamingo shirt.
Because you're like
because that's the dude I want to attract.
That's not how that works.
Or I go the fucking rough boys route, like Pete Townsend. I wear leather and I bite guys.
You're worse gay than you are a straight.
Are you going to listen to me or just talk over me the whole fucking show? Lesbians should wear lipstick and makeup.
No.
Yes, they should. No. Because, I mean, look, lesbians, the only reason you're lesbians is to make men think that they want you. That's it. That's your whole function. Stop pretending you're following some weird calling inside of yourself and admit that you're being lesbians because you want men to notice you. That's what it's all about. Please know I'm kidding. Everybody out there now who's like, I'm going to kill this dude. Please know I'm joking. Because I realize you doubled and tripled down on it after about the 4th time. People just turn the fucking show off. I can't believe, when did this guy turn on us? I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding. But when we were talking earlier, I was busting her balls because she's just like, yeah, no, because Lily's got she gets girl crushes occasionally, and there's some woman, and she showed me a photo of this chick, and like I said, this chick is dressed like fucking a weed dealer on the corner. You know what I mean? Just like a parka and a fucking like pullover hat. And I'm like,
it's not just the look. I get attracted to people.
Yawn.
Oh yeah. The first thing, like I told you, there was the guy in the audience the other night. I'm like, hey Tarzan, and I'm like, yeah, he was really hot, but there was no way I was gonna go home and fuck him.
It's interesting you would mention Tarzan because this whole show started under the premise we're different from you folks. We're absolutely different people. Lily and I function on a different plane. I'm not saying it's a higher plane or a lower plane. I'm just saying it's different from you guys because you right now, like I said, you're in your office, you're shuffling papers, you're making copies. Like Rob Schneider's there in your office, he's helping you out. You're collating, you're doing important things. It's the only business word I know, really. You're making a pie graph, a pie chart. You're making a bar graph. You're having a late lunch and you're taking it at your desk. You're eating a cup of soup. Perhaps you've stolen a coworker's lunch and you've gone ahead and eaten that. Maybe you've done that and you're trying to be clandestine about it. You're having, you know what? Right now it's 3:30 in the afternoon and you're going, I need a little pick-me-up. So you go to your drawer for a mini fruit cup or a candy bar of some sort to get you through to 5 o'clock. And then you're going to go home after that and you're going to take a shower and go out in the town, man, and have a couple. And then maybe you wind up randomly making out with a stranger in a bar somewhere. Hey, maybe we're not that different. All right, so. And by we, I mean you and Lily. But my point is you're doing that thing. You're living your life. You're living a normal life. You're driving your Fiat and you're going to and fro, and you're meeting your friends out at the corner for like a bar extravaganza or a pub crawl, if you will. And you live your life to absorb pleasure and have a good time. But also in the daytime, though, you're hustling, you're bustling, and your whole life is scored by dun, 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 that kind of music. Well, Lily and I are different, and I will tell you why. Because this is a conversation you've never had, and probably a sentence you've never heard in your life until now. I'm here, sitting here, and she and I are chatting, and she's telling me about her show, and she's telling me about Tarzan, and she's mentioning things. And this sentence came out of her mouth. And I was actually going to open the show with just this sentence to see what you said.
What did I say?
And she just goes, she's telling me this is her relating a story. And maybe you've had these kind of experiences. Maybe you've gone ahead and told this kind of story to somebody, or you've had some sort of thing. But she's explaining to me how at this show, there was a loudmouth chick that she had to bat down because she was emceeing. And then there was Tarzan in the back of the room, and she starts flirting with him, and he's got really long hair. And then she says, literally this sentence, just think of this sentence out of context. I wish you hadn't mentioned Tarzan, because I would have gone off and just said this sentence to see what people's reaction was. Then I made him come up on stage and eat the banana. Fuck, I blew it. Blew the fucking line. Then I made him come up on stage and eat the banana from between my legs. That sentence, I'm assuming, is a sentence you've never said or even thought of to this point. I'm not sure out there how many of you have been on stage. First of all, let's break it down. Let's unpack this sentence. I'm not sure if you've ever been on stage, so you wouldn't reference being on stage at any point. Now, if you were on stage, I'm betting it was for like a school play, or perhaps a child's christening, or you were reading in your church group or something like that. So I'm assuming it would be a wholesome thing like that. And very rarely, I will tell you, very, very rarely have I gone to a school play and someone ate a banana out of somebody's pussy. Honestly, I don't recall that ever being a thing that I saw. I got to be honest with you, that's a school play I see again. My fucking high school's doing the Fantastics every year. I'm like, fuck that. Let's get the banana pussy eating fucking play. Let's get that one going. Let's get that James Thurber short story.
Yeah, out of context doesn't sound good, does it?
Let's get that really cool version of Stomp. So I made him come up on stage and eat the banana from between my legs. Again, we're unpacking it. Perhaps even I will put it this way. Perhaps you were at a show and you were on stage and you had a banana. And you looked for volunteers from the audience to come up and eat said banana. You did not put it between your legs for that person to eat, did you? No. That's why I'm saying we're different from you. Let's talk about another key component of that sentence. It's on stage, eat the banana from between my legs. Let's talk about the beginning of it. I made him. Yes, you did. In the capacity of an MC, you have the power to go to the crowd. Who should come up? And they all went, Tarzan. And you said, get up here. No, get up here.
But then I also said consent is everything. If you don't want to come up here, you don't have to come up here. You never have to come up on stage.
Fuck your bullshit disclaimer. You wanted Tarzan to eat a banana out of your snatch, and we know it.
Literally, when he got off stage, I just went, no one's ever done it before.
Nope.
Usually go, hey, come on up and do this. And they're like, no, that's all right. I'll pass. And I'm like, okay.
And this guy who was there with his girlfriend,
full on comes up with vigor and vim, and yeah.
And look, I'm all for a guy committing to the bit.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, when you maybe perhaps there's a chance, because it is a bar, it is late, he's been drinking, perhaps he's feeling some sort of potassium deficiency.
It's very true.
Why, in that moment, he may have turned just before that happened to his girlfriend and said, "Man, I need a banana." And Andy Kaufman, Mighty Mouse style, here you came to save the day. And had that guy throw the banana from your pussy. Good for you.
Can I now advertise my show as not only entertainment, but nutritional?
Of course you should. How would you not? So that sentence is what that sentence started the entire show before when I sat down here. Yes, thank you. You kept going, how are we different? Why are we different?
How am I different?
That's
really?
how we're different.
I put my panties on one at a time, one leg at a time.
You want to know how we're really different? Her pussy peeled the banana. So.
It made it appear.
Oh, nice. All right. It had been there the entire show. Oh, I feel bad for that rabbit. By the way, I'll show you a little behind the scenes here. She'd been holding a bottle of water this whole time, and I was waiting for her to take a drink to say her pussy peeled the banana, hoping she would spit water all over the place. I was waiting and waiting. I'm like,
I
God
almost
damn it.
did.
That would have been sweet. So we are different than you folks, is my point.
We are. I agree now.
And this is why we get to set up shop in a stripper's kitchen and put out a show that's beamed all over the world, if you will. To our friend Sammy Shah in Australia, to our friend Sakari Singh in Toluca Lake. I don't know if she's in Toluca Lake. Actually, I do. This is weird. I do this sometimes when people will put up a photo of themselves online and they won't say what they are. You'll see a store or something in the background. Because I do it. You know who does it? Brody Stevens does it all the time. Like he'll put up stuff on Twitter where he's at. And one time I was like, I tweeted him and I go, I know exactly where you are. Like I literally, because he was at my house. He was a mile from my house in this, there's a Starbucks he goes to around there, whatever. But it's funny to me when someone's just like, they think, it almost like points out the flaw in, hey, you're literally telling people where you are at this point.
Yes. That's
So I'm like Facebook friends with this girl named Sakari Singh, and she put up a photo and she's like out shopping or whatever. And behind her, again, it's because as a comedian, I'm trained to just look I'm not trained, but it's just my fucking brain works where I look in the background for anything. I look for a street sign, I look for a car so I can make fun of it or whatever. Because you never want to make fun of what's right in the photo. You want to look whatever. So there was a sign, an awning, and it had a name of a business. And I saw it and I immediately Googled it and I went, I know exactly where that person is right now. Like I
You know
knew.
who else does that?
Stalkers?
Stalker.
Probably. All right.
That's why I latergram as opposed to Instagram a lot, because I don't need some crazy person showing up because they know where I am.
Right. And that's the thing is you leave yourself open because I mean I'm sure you've seen that this will make me laugh. Makes me laugh. There's this wave of like robbers who see people posting where they are, or if they're on vacation, they go to the person's house and it was happening to like baseball players and shit like that. Yeah. They know they're on the road, so then they break in and they steal all their shit. Football players were in the Super Bowl. The worst is like when a young football player, where there's a funeral and they'll hit like his house and the family's house and they take all their shit. And it's just monstrous, but it's a new version of an old scam because I used to watch Dragnet, as I mentioned, when it was on. And why isn't it on anymore? Hey, MeTV.
Because Sonny and Cher's on you.
On what channel?
Me.
When?
MeTV has the Sonny and Cher comedy hour once a week. I think it is now.
I would watch.
I've got them all taped.
Oh
my God.
That's funny.
She was a scamp, a tramp, and a bit of a...
She was a bit of a vamp, certainly.
Oh.
So I on my Dragnet show, there was an old man he would scour the listings for like weddings and stuff. And when the people were at the weddings, he would go to their house and he was using the newspaper to do it. And then of course Jack Webb figures it out and he's like, hey, wait a second. And then they started to do cross-referencing and examining. Are you humming?
Yeah, I was humming the theme.
Oh, I was like, am I hearing fucking things? What are you doing? No, dun, 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 that. And then they busted some old dude who was like stealing candelabras and shit from some old people. Yeah, I always fucking, that's so weird. Like in the old time days, like people would steal a silver tea service. And even when I watched like American Greed and shit like that, there was a guy who was a cat burglar and he'd be like, oh, I'd totally steal silver. And I'm like, where the fuck do you unload a silver tea service? Like what?
Melt it down and sell it.
For what? Who wants a bowl of silver? It just seems terrible. Hey man, I just melted down.
Silver.
For the going rate? Who's buying a chunk of silver? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You got to steal money.
What is the going rate of silver per ounce?
I'm sorry, we're in the middle of a show and are you asking Suri a question?
I am.
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the going rate of silver per ounce.
What is it?
Why doesn't she say? I don't know, just a silverperounce.org.
She's telling me right now.
Yeah, but you know what? Fuck, nobody's selling silver except old people who are scared by Fox News. That's the only people who are doing that kind of shit.
They're doing silver and gold.
I don't see any market for a bowl of molten silver
right
unless you're trying to keep people from storming your castle. That's the only thing I can think of, and you'll pour it on them from above, the stones above.
An ounce of silver is $16.29.
$16.
Yes, for an ounce.
That's nothing.
Well, it is when you consider there's a 12-piece serving that has, an ounce.
Yeah, but that's already a silver tea service. You're not gonna. That's not silver. That's a silver tea service. Who's got a molting thing or whatever the fuck a blast furnace in their house to melt it down and sell it?
That's not what you do. You take it to the pawn shop that buys the illegal silver, then they sell it to the thing and they melt it down and remake new stuff.
Doesn't seem worth the effort.
Oh, it's.
I'd rather steal money.
It's like stealing copper pipe and wiring out of houses.
And also, you're being all stealth. You're a cat burglar. Then you got a sack full of silver making noise on the way out. Fuck that. You sound like fucking, Santa's reindeers. You're walking up, it's like shing, 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 shing. Everybody's like, hey, what's in the bag? A silver tea service? Get the fuck away from me, man. Although I guess if you're a cat burglar, you're on the fucking awning in the transom. Nobody sees you. You're just like, you're running on the rooftops.
You really got to stop watching Dragnet.
Perhaps. I don't know if a transom exists anymore. Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't watched it in forever. It's because it's not on anymore because MeTV has gone ahead and went all in on fucking bullshit shows like Sonny and Cher and Alf. This is my favorite part about MeTV. Again, it's old people television. And I told you I tape Mannix and there's a show I tape called Svengoolie, which is a Chicago horror show. And it's corny as fuck. It's terrible. But I for some reason, I gain comfort from taping it every Saturday and I will fast forward through to his bits. I didn't watch the fucking movie. And his bits are terrible. I hate watch it. Basically, I hate watch Svengoolie. That's what I do. I hate watch a guy named Svengoolie because I used to like him when I was a kid, because he's been around for 35 years, I think it is. So when I was a teenager, like he did a 3D thing and I watched him and I liked old horror movies. So it was kind of it was like Mystery Science Theater, that thing where I go like, I don't have to turn the channel for 2 hours. I can, because I'm going to watch the movie and then he's going to come in and do a bunch of goofy shit and it's going to be fun. But now it's just corny as fuck. Because again, I'm 50. I mean, I don't get knock jokes and fucking ridiculous Three Stooges nonsense. Not coming from a fat guy in a goddamn makeup outfit. It looks like a weird hippie. But whatever.
So judgmental.
Well, I mean, I heard and it's funny because he's like I hear he's a really nice man and a really good guy. Rich Koz is his name, or Koz, Rich Koz. And because my friend, comedian Mike Toomey is my friend. And comedian Mike Toomey is my friend. Sounds so stupid. Well, because I would, like, Mike should be doing something like that. Mike should host a monster show because he's funny. And he's wry. He's not just like, hey, look at this dumb shit. He's like kind of smart. And I always wanted him to be that guy. And I'd say, man, why is Rich Koz on for 40 years? And I can't get you can't get on local television. And he's like, well, and this has changed, by the way. For the last like 6 years, he's been on the morning show on WGN. And he either he has himself or he dresses up his characters. He does fucking Dracula and fucking, he has a sports guy he invented named Skip Parker. And it's a guy right out of the 70s with the old blazer and stuff. And it's really awesome, fun stuff. But I used to say to Mike, I'd be like, how the fuck is Rich Koz still on? And then you can't get a gig. He's like, Rich is the nicest guy ever. And he's actually had me to his things. And I'm like, all right, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but still, you should be on TV. Because when I was touring with Mike, when we were running around, he told me he used to host a cable access show for kids. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, but we made it funny. Like it wasn't just, it was, if parents watched it, they would get it, but we still showed cartoons and we had fun. So he loaned me the videotapes of it. And sadly, I think I still have them. I don't know if I ever returned the masters to him and I feel fucking terrible about it. I got fucking piles of boxes. So I got to go through it and see if he's got it or if I've got them so I can get them back to him. But it was a show called VCR and it was Video Child's Recess or something like that. I don't know what the fuck. And he was the host and he would come out and he would bring all the Chicago comedians would come in and play characters and do silly things. Greg Galliano was on a few times. Greg wrote Meet the Parents. And he was a stand-up. And my favorite thing he ever did, I may have told this story on the fucking show. He had Harry Tynowitz on, who's a Chicago comedian. And Harry Tynowitz was supposed to be like Nick Knock, the something detective. He was a detective. And as he's talking to him, he asks Harry Tynowitz something, and Harry Tynowitz goes, well, I'm Nick Leyva, something detective. Now, at the time, Nick Leyva was the manager of the Phillies. So Mike Toomey goes, Nick Leyva, the manager of the Phillies? And Harry Tynowitz goes, and because you would see him start to laugh, and he just goes, he's also a detective. And so then they created the character Nick Leyva, baseball detective. So then he would go to baseball diamonds where kids were playing in Little League with a big fucking like MacGyver or a big McGruff fucking. And it just, so they spun out of it in an improv bit. They made a whole character named Nick Leyva, the baseball detective. And again, doesn't sound funny to you now, but holy fuck was it funny to me. But it was just like the incredibly smart, funny sensibility of Mike. And so who cares? So Mike needs to be on TV some more. So I'm talking about like MeTV. The thing that makes me laugh, I put the light on me. But the thing I laugh about MeTV is, they just show these ancient shows. I mean, I watch them and I can literally feel osteoporosis setting in my bones because I'm just watching these shows from when I was a kid. You half expect to hear my mom yell, dinner. I mean, it's that because it's these old reruns of these old shows that I grew up watching, but they've repackaged them in a way to where they pretend that they're new. So I was watching Svengoolie the other night and it was like, they had this big like fireworks, da, 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 and they showed Alf and it said, Alf coming this fall or this summer to MeTV.
So they used all of the old promo idea. That's hysterical.
But that's what I mean. It's like, what do you mean Alf he's came and went. I mean, he's gone. Just because you're resurrecting the corpse of a puppet of Alf, I mean, fuck, dude, you don't want to be doing that shit. And I think we talked on here about Alf before. I didn't get it. I never got Alf at all. an alien who lives with a family and he eats, what's he eat, ducks or chickens or whatever the fuck? Cats, that's what he eats. That's grim. Now, if you do that R-rated, maybe I'm on board. You got a family with an alien that got to constantly feed it cats or else it'll kill them in the night. There you go. Look at that.
Let's recreate Alf the Murderous musical.
But let's call it Malf and cast Donnie Most.
Oh my god.
Hi, I'm the oldest man on earth to make that reference. Holy fuck. That's right.
Oh my god.
So I'm in Arizona at spring training, and Dennis is like, I'm going to totally make this red sauce, and then look, he made it, and I will tell you this, he put a bunch of fucking meat in it and did whatever he was going to do to it, and then he left it cooking for 5 hours, 6 hours when we went to the game, and then we came back and he's like, look at this, it looks good, and I tried it, and it was it was fucking Prego with meat in it. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, it all simmered and steeped, and I'm sure some of the brajol got into the ga-ga-ga-go and whatever the fuck. And it made the tomatoes have more personality, meat-wise, whatever the fuck. It made your tomatoes beefier, but it didn't, your Prego was still wrong-o. I mean, I wasn't a fucking fan.
Prego is still wrong-o.
But then I made my sauce. We got back from the game, and I was out there, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Da-da-da-da-da, San Marzano, boom, 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 little onion, boom, ba-da-dum, boom, boom, boom. Little salt, little pepper, little bing-bing. And then who stole the show with the sauce? Me. It was fucking dominant. I got to be honest with you. I live my life trying to get David Hernandez's approval. That's it. That's all I do. I mean, all of you guys too. Certainly it matters to me what you think. But that's why it drives me crazy when he just writes yay to me in a text. I'm just like, man, fuck, could you just say good job or something once, motherfucker? Which is weird because I just want my friend of 35 years to go, that was cool. But instead, again, misanthrope. That's me. I don't like anything. Meh. So,
he liked last week's show.
all right. Well, that's what I mean. When that happens, when he bursts out of his shell, Kool-Aid Man style, I'm like, yeah.
He Kool-Aided that show, man.
But
I think he's been waiting for that longer than you have.
I don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, he's the guy who went ahead and so I'm always kind of like, I'm pining for his approval. I want him to think I'm funny. I want him to think that, even my contributions to the interlude, I'm like, is that funny? I want him to be, I want to hear, I need an attaboy. It's why I fucking need it. We know me. I need a fucking attaboy. All right. I'm a little fragile. I'm 6'2", 320. That's right. Down to 320, folks. This guy's lost 14 pounds in 2 weeks. Take fucking that.
Good job.
And last,
attaboy!
There you go. It's what I'm looking for. God damn it. Tousle my hair and tell me I'm good.
Hashtag martini. Hashtag attaboy.
Ooh, half of those I like. So I just want Max's approval. That's it. I crave it. I demand him to just go, you're awesome, dude. That's cool. That'd be great. But he's not that fella. Instead, he's just not that kind of dude. Like I told you when he said to me, if you're looking for that, I'm not that guy. It's like, yeah, I guess not. You're not a guy who would ever comfort a friend. All right, good for me. So
very excited and happy for you last week.
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about. So anyway, so I make the red sauce, and then Dennis's is done first, and then we made 7 boxes of noodles. I guess figuring we would all eat a pound of spaghetti. It was ridiculous. It was the fucking coolest weekend. It was one of those things where it was a big chill weekend without Jeff Goldblum fucking it up. So we didn't.
Or women.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, we wish we would have had those. If Meg Tilly shows up, she just pats around by the UN of Evil. Just fucking bukkake the shit out of her.
Oh my God.
Dude, that's a good weekend. Fucking, I could even live with a shitty Prego if I got the bukkake Meg Tilly with 7 of my friends. And not Jennifer. Jennifer's classy. But Meg Tilly's the right height for a bukkake, too. She's going to take it right in the fucking neck. Blam.
I don't want to hear.
What are you talking about? Come on, admit it. Like, Meg Tilly's not at home right now, just got in a chill, like, woohoo, that would actually have been fun. I like baseball. So she would have come with me to Arizona. That's exactly what she was thinking. Why didn't they invite me to spring training? I like baseball and I like bukkake. Holy fuck. What a fantastic weekend. A B&B weekend. That's Airbnb. Air, baseball, and bukkake. I'm inventing a new fucking thing. We'll have to put a tarp down on the floor for everybody, but I'll rent out my bedroom. Fuck yeah. I'll sleep in the fucking purple chair. You guys can Airbnb in my house. Baseball and fucking bukkake. Done. Nothing says a great fucking weekend like a sticky Meg Tilly. Oh boy. That means you had a good time, fellas. If you can look over at fucking Meg Tilly and see her fucking glazed up like a goddamn candle, you have had a fantastic weekend. If Meg Tilly looks like a dozen donuts from a Krispy Kreme, then you have absolutely had a great time on your excursion. And for her to get blasted by the UNIVIVALum, because we're all different races, I'm sure all of our semen is different colors. So, is that how it works? I wouldn't know.
I don't think so.
I've seen enough porn to know that's not true. I've seen enough bukkake to know that's not true. A lot of Japanese dudes in there. All right, so what we're talking about. So I'm making sauce. And now making sauce is taking up a completely different meaning if we're going to be bukkakeing Meg Tilly. So I made my sauce, and so we're eating like and we had like 1 million pounds of garlic bread, and we're eating, and all the other guys are animals. They have no taste, so they're eating Dennis's sauce, and they're just eating it because it's there. It's spaghetti sauce and noodles. And I tried it, and like I said, it had the bitter notes of having cooked too long. The meat was a little burnt. Look, I'm not going to be that guy. It was fine. I mean, it was okay. But my sauce was as bright as a summer morning, because it's just tomatoes and onions and butter, and it's not heavy, and it's light. And so everybody gets their plates, and they're wolfing it down. And Megs ate a giant plate of spaghetti with Dennis's sauce. Despite his Prego protestations, he still choked down the fucking Dennis sauce, which was fine. But then he made a second plate with my sauce, and he went out there playing. When the guys are playing spades, no, what the fuck is that game where there's 2 and 2, not bridge, not spades, not euchre. So they're playing euchre. They're in the backyard playing euchre, and Megs is just sitting there eating his.
What year was this?
This was fucking 2 months ago.
Old men.
It was awesome.
Euchre.
Well, again, until fucking Meg Tilly shows up, there's nothing we can do about it. We can't bukkake a neighbor. Yeah, it's funny because this woman like rented out the house for Airbnb, and then I was just like, this would be a good like brothel situation. Like if you were next door to a brothel and you rented the room to like 6 guys, and then you also owned the house next door and it was a brothel and the whores all came over, like it would be a mix and match situation.
So anyway.
So Mex sits down and he makes a big plate of noodles with my sauce, and I go out there and they're playing euchre, and Mex is eating the sauce, and he goes, dude. And I look at him and he just goes, and he like nodded with a wink, like, and he pointed at the fucking plate. And I was like, oh yeah? Because now I need more. And he goes, yeah, dude, that's good. And he goes, this is what fucking red sauce is supposed to be. And he's just like, he goes, it's not gravy, it's just red sauce. And he just, fucking wolfed it. And I was just like, I don't care what else happens this year. I've had a good year. Max liked my spaghetti sauce. And then the rest of the year happened, and it turns out I was wrong. But anyway, it just, it turns out the spaghetti sauce did not salve my feelings the way I thought it would. So by getting his approval, even on that small thing, I have to admit, I was very, very happy. I was like, yeah, because again, I like to cook because I can follow a recipe, but I don't, there's nobody to cook for. I mean, I just spent a few, well, fuck me. I'm always going to give me an attaboy. Well, I'm just saying for cooking wise, but you're right. Yes, I can cook for me, but I'm saying I like cooking with somebody. So like I've spent some time recently doing that, and it was I always wanted to cook because it means love. It means I'm taking care of you. It means that sort of thing. So that was something that was important to me. So whether I was making tortilla soup or meatballs or making a fucking carnitas and all that shit, it was so awesome to dive into doing that.
I'm going to put my glasses on.
Why are you putting your glasses on? Are you Meg Tilly?
You know, Mike, sometimes you can make love and time for yourself. Cook for yourself and share that appreciation of taking care of yourself.
Yes, but all you're doing is taking care of yourself at that point. That's not really sharing love or showing love or taking care of somebody else.
You.
Yes, okay, well,
because
sure.
when you are healthy, then love comes with you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, when you're healthy, love will come with you.
Okay. Well,
you'll find that other person that wants to be the one to your one, not the half and the half.
Thank you, Ally McGraw.
You're welcome.
You and Ryan O'Neal and your love story bullshit can take that story walking. Well, nice. You're right. Thank you. Yes, I should make, because I in the middle of losing.
Make dinner for yourself.
Of course.
Have a date with yourself, Mike.
You should make dinner for your soul.
Oh no, that's soup.
I was about to mention.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Why? Who cares? You're right. I was literally going to go with that dinner be chicken soup, but that's fine. You beat me to it. I was waiting for a pause, but you just leaped in with your own nonsense.
My nonsense is your nonsense.
It's our nonsense.
So don't mock me
No,
either.
it's like, well, we do the show with you on my shoulders, Master Blaster style. It's always been the way it's been done. I just wish you would stop having that banana poke me in the neck.
There's a bunch of them in there. It's bad.
So we were in Arizona and we're at this house, man, and it was just, that was the best time. It was this weird escape from real life for a while, and we just went for like 5 days and just hanging out with the guys I grew up with. And I'm doing a lot of that sort of thing now where I'm reaching out to people because I need people. And it's a weird thing to say, and you feel weird saying it. Like I spent time with my brother like 2 weeks ago. And at the end of it, I go, hey, I know you're gone a lot, but this was great because we hung out. We were supposed to only just have lunch. and I was at his house till fucking 6:30. And then I just said, hey, this is, I need this. I kind of need this a lot. That would be kind of cool to have, you know, if you want to go to a game or fucking call me up, we'll get a pizza and watch a hockey game together, or the UFC, you can come to my house. But I mean, I'm always around, you know, and, because it's funny, I think I mentioned this, you know, a couple weeks ago, his girls were in town, my nieces, and, right, if I'm their uncle, they're my nieces.
Yes.
Okay. So he brought them to town, and I found out about it through Facebook. And I was bummed because the last time they were in town, I got to go over there for New Year's, and we made a breakfast and we watched hockey and we had fun. And then I took them to the airport, or to the boat, I should say. They all went on the Queen Mary, and that was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I felt familial, and I felt, you know, loved, and I felt all supported, all that kind of stuff. And because the girls, you know, I didn't talk to Lenny for 7 years, and I've talked about it on the show here, where I didn't talk to his family. Like, the girls were born and I never met them. I didn't know about them being born. I didn't know where they were, but I knew he had he lived in my apartment building, and I've told the story in here before. His daughter would walk past my house and stop and look at me. Now, she didn't know me, but for some reason she knew me. So she would literally stop at my screen door and look in the house at me. And I'd be like, hello, you know, like I always say to dogs, hello, hello, when I'm talking to a little girl. Because I didn't want it to be too weird, but I'm going to say hi, of course. I'm like, hi, hey, hi, how are you doing? And she'd just stare, because I sort of looked like her dad. I'm sure that's what it was. Like I'm almost the same size. I'm a little taller than him, but I'm the same, you know, everything. Yeah. And then, of course, her mom would come and scoop her up and run away and give me a dirty look and melt my screen door with her fucking grim stare. She wasn't a fan. So, what a shock. I know. Weird that somebody wouldn't be a fan of mine. So I didn't talk to Lenny for all that time. And so I missed out on them growing up. And then I finally met them again after Lenny reached out to me, and he had baby blues and stuff. And so I went over there, and the first time I met them, they hugged me. They walked up and they were like, hey, Uncle Mike. They called me Uncle Mike, and they hugged me. And then when they said goodbye, they said, I love you, Uncle Mike.
Did they recognize you?
Well, no,
in the apartment complex?
I never talked to them about that. Because the older girl, that was her, you know, I don't think the younger girl never saw me. But when I went and met them, they're grown up now. Like, you know, one is 16, or no, one might be 15 or 16. And then the other one is, I don't know, fucking 9, 14. I don't know. I'm kidding. But she's like 12, I think. So, but for them to just accept me like that was so astonishing, you know, that they weren't poisoned against me. They weren't told I was bad or all these terrible things. And for them to immediately just kind of hug me. So then I want to see them all the time. I want to, you know, if they come to town, I want to at least take them to lunch or whatever. And so when they were in town, it kind of bummed me out that they didn't contact me. But then I thought about it again. I'm doing very well about this, because normally I would have gone into that spiral of, oh, fuck, but I'm not, you know, you want to contact me? And that would have been me 10 years ago. But now I recognize that Lenny's in town for 3 days, 4 days, and he wants to be with his girls. He's been gone for a month. He hasn't seen them in 5 weeks. And now he's back in town, and they come out for a couple of days. And so why shouldn't they spend that time alone? Yeah. And then it's funny, I mentioned it to him that weekend when I saw him 2 weeks ago. And he's like, well, fuck, you should have just, dude, when you saw it, you should have texted me. You could have come to dinner or something. I go, nah. I go, honestly, you guys were having the best time, and I know they want every minute with you. So I would have felt weird stealing any, even though I'm spending the time with all three of them, I'm still taking time away from them with their dad. Yeah. Whether it's true or not, that's how I feel, even though I know for sure it's fucking true. Because I was a little kid, and you never wanted to go, oh, well, I'm sharing you now? That's fucking weird. Although not with my dad. And I was never taking my dad away from a person. It was more from a bottle. So they were in town, and it was great. So I reached out to him when I saw him 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, honestly, I need to hang out more. But then it turned out pretty cool, because he's like, hey, you know, I have to go to and from Long Beach, you know, kind of every couple of weeks to go to work. Would you want to take me? And so that worked out great. I said, yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that. So, you know, if we stop for lunch and I get to take him and I see him all the time, that's pretty cool. So when I went to Arizona, it was really amazing to spend all that time with these guys that I've grown up with, that have all kind of, not all of us have gone our separate ways. I mean, I've been out here for a very long time. Eric now lives in Arizona, my friend Eric E-Man. And then Ak now lives in Arizona. And then the rest of the guys all still live in Illinois. Dennis lives in Denver. So for all of us to get back together, and it's funny, remember I talked about this on the show where I said I just wanted to get together and get like a cabin and hang out for a fucking week and play cards and laugh and cook and eat and shoot something or whatever the fuck. Just laugh. And Jeff made fun of me when I told him that. And he's just like, dude, shoot something. Like fucking, you hate hunting? You're not that guy at all. I go, I don't give a fuck. I just want to be in the cabin with you guys and fucking hang out. We got to talk a Tilly sister to come over and fucking catch ropes. So to go to Arizona, it was such a great idea. Dennis proposed it. And when he proposed it, a lot of the times I would hem and haw and I'd have to check with somebody or I'd have to see what was up. And it just so happened at the time he asked, it was at a time I was free. So I was the first guy to reply to the email. He's like, hey, I'm just thinking this might be a good idea. I'm in. And then thankfully the other guys all kind of fell in line because they've been doing that sort of thing for years. Last year I missed a weekend in Colorado it was a Cubs weekend in Colorado. They all stayed at Dennis's house, cooked out, and I missed it because I had other obligations. I think it was Podfest weekend maybe. And I felt terrible about it because that's all I want to fucking do. I have this weird, and I'm sure it's part of the situation I'm in now and who I've become and looking forward, looking back, I need my friends. I need to talk to people and to hang out. And I throw this out to you guys too. A lot of you contacted me and like, if you want to call me or whatever, well, don't be shocked if your fucking phone rings in the middle of fucking night one time and it's just me going, hey, hi. But also that seems weird to me because these people, you guys know me through the show. We're all friends. I consider us friends. But if I contact you in the middle of the night, that looks like I need something, man. And that's fucking cool.
Yeah. Friend.
Yeah, but fuck that. You don't want me contacting you needing a friend. You want to contact me because we're friends.
But that's why you contact a friend, because you want to do something fun and exciting and different and unique with something and someone.
Yeah, I mean, so that's why I always say if you're going to be in town, contact me or whatever. We'll hang out. And it's never been more true than it is now. Like I like going to movies, and like I'm a decent alone guy. I can go to the movies by myself. I can do stuff by myself, but it'd be nice to hang out. And there's that great scene in Clerks 2 I've talked about where Randall gives the speech in the jail cell and he's talking to Dante and he's just like, I look how old I am. I'm not going to make new friends. You're it. You're the only fucking friend I got. And I'm losing you to this fucking girl. So now what the fuck am I going to do? Basically I'm a misfit who nobody fucking likes. And you're the only one who tolerated my bullshit. Now you're fucking going away. And, it's not to that fucking extreme. You can certainly feel like that when you get to be 50 and you're like, well, this is never going to happen again, and this is never going to happen again, and I'm not going to see these people again. And they're all, because everyone's got their families, everybody's got their people and their kids, and rightfully so, they're active in their lives. Like it was when I talked about when Never Not Funny ended, I was like, Jimmy's already got a kid. You know what I mean? He doesn't fucking need another one. So I was in Arizona and it was such a fucking fantastic time. We had such, 6 guys went to the fucking store and bought a ton of groceries, and they go, anything you want right on the list, we'll just grab it. So then they brought in a bunch of shit. They brought in, at the time I was eating candies, they brought in candy bars and fucking, I bought brownie bites and fucking, because obviously a good time to me revolves around food. And I can think about that ever since I was a kid. Hey, we got to get beef sandwiches for the game tonight. We got to get pizza for this. We got to do that. And it's so weird now to not think like that. It was, I went like that when I was losing all my weight the first time, to not think, hey, I need food for this celebration. Food's fuel. Food keeps you alive. It's not something you indulge in. Now, you can do that occasionally, and that's not a problem. But at the same time, you have to fight that urge all the time where I make everything. Like I had John, my trainer, come over to watch the UFC one time. We hung out, and I brought all this food from Baby Blues. Oh, we didn't need fucking barbecue, but I was kind of like, yeah, that'll be awesome. Let's have it. And he doesn't care. He ate one plate of it. And it just, because there are people out there who don't care about food the way I care about food. Yeah. Food's love to me. Food has always been love. It's just, whether I was burying myself in 2 boxes of fucking Kraft macaroni and cheese, or I was burying myself in fucking, in a gallon of vanilla ice cream. You know what I mean? But also vanilla ice cream with magic shell all over it. And you got to have here's what you got to do. Here's a fat guy special for you. Put your ice cream in the bowl, put your spoon in the ice cream, and let it sit for a good couple of minutes. Then you put your magic shell on, because then your spoon is as cold as the ice cream and the magic shell will adhere to the spoon as well as the ice cream. And then when you pull your spoon out, it's just got about 1.5 inch thick coating of fucking hard chocolate fudge on it. And then you save that for the end of the fucking bowl. You eat all the ice cream around your fucking thing, and then at the end you just put that giant hunk of candy in there and you fucking spin it around and you eat it. Then you stick your dick in the bowl. That's another. Also, too, when you're going to put hard magic shell on your cock, make sure you put your cock in the ice cream and leave it in there for a good 2 minutes. Now, I got to be honest with you. Your cock's never going to get as cold as the ice cream. But you can try. And then you just put a fucking magic shell all over the top of it, and boom, there you go. You got a cock and a candy shell. It's perfect. It's like it's not an M&M, it's a fucking C&C. It's a cock and chocolate. There you go, cock and chocolate. So we did that in Arizona, I guess is my point. We all made cock and chocolate, and it's terrible. We all put magic shell on our dicks, but it was fucking fantastic to hang out. We went shopping, went to the games.
So
What?
I do have a question.
All right.
Did you rent porn and make tombstones?
We made tombstones because big guy.
Didn't put the porn on?
No porn. Because you know why? Their TV was we couldn't, because I wanted to watch the UFC. That's my new porn with dudes. So but their TV was locked because it was an Airbnb and you couldn't order pay-per-view events. So the last night we were there, which was Saturday night, we were all leaving Sunday for different airports at different times. We sat this is the fucking dude, honestly, this is better than porn. This is better than the UFC. I had the remote and I'm flipping channels and we watched basketball. We watched basketball for a while till it ended. Then we watched sports until it ended. And then I put on Me TV and the Game Show Network. I was flipping back and forth. So we put on the Game Show Network. We watched Card Sharks for an hour and a half because they had 3 episodes back to back to back. And we were betting on who would win. And we were playing and shouting at the screen and going, higher, lower. And Mex was into it, but Mex was kind of making fun of it. Dennis was just kind of half paying attention to it. Kenny was just laughing at us because we were ridiculous. Eric fell asleep. And Woj and I were competing like we were at the Olympics. It was the fucking great, because my friend Dave Wojcik, I've talked about Woj a million times. He's so underrated funny and so underrated fucking great because he's a dude. Again, he's a guy who now owns his own business. He's fucking, he's done very well for himself. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got beautiful kids, and they're going to college. And he's everything you would want to be if when you were in high school, you're like, I want to be successful. He's like Dennis. Dennis is the same way. Dennis has built a house from the ground up. Woj has lived in different places. He's traveled internationally. He's done a ton of business. I respect Dave so much, but also he's still Dave I went to school with. Dennis is still Dennis I went to school with. So when dumb shit is happening, they're just like, I'm in. Let's fucking do it. And it's the greatest feeling in the world. Because I've stayed dumb. I mean, I've grown up and stayed an idiot and just had silliness. I will in my house. I'm the same idiot, like I said, in the car, when a guy will come on and go, do you owe the government taxes? Yes. Do you want to get out of them? No. I will answer the commercial all the time out loud because it's dumb and it makes me laugh. Well, Woj is playing Card Sharks with me and stuff like they'd be like, we've got Bonnie and let's introduce her challenger, Roger. And he goes, I'm a Roger man. I am all over fucking Roger. And I'm like, dude, Bonnie is going to smoke Roger. He goes, all right. He goes on, let's see it. Come on, Roger, get ahead in the game. Like he's me in that. So we're invested in fucking Card Sharks. Because again, if you don't know anything about Card Sharks, let me explain it to you. It's a 70s game show where they have a deck of cards and they literally unveil cards and you have to go higher, lower. There's no skill, none. You're just guessing. It's a guessing game. It's guess which hand, but in playing card form. But we're playing it like psychos. We're just doing that. And we played an hour and a half. We watched for an hour and a half. Then they played fucking Press Your Luck for an hour and a half. And we're yelling, stop. We're betting on people. We're picking them. We're going, oh yeah, take that, you fucking loser. Like we're heckling and having the greatest time. Mex is into it and Woj is into it. And we were laughing our balls off all night. The commercials late at night on MeTV and the Game Show Network, because the only people watching those channels are old. It's all walk-in bathtubs and, hey, do you have brain eczema? I mean, it's just like all the dumbest shit in the world.
Every time it's on, Eddie goes, I want one of those.
The walk-in bathtub?
No, it's the chair that goes up and down.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have a 2-story house.
Don't care. Need it. So Eddie would fit in with us, just yelling at shit.
He's like, I want one of those. I'm like, we don't have a second
But that's
story.
what we're doing. We're watching all these commercials and you're like, this is bleak, but I kind of want this shit. So then they ran a commercial for something called Magic Tracks. And it was like a train, and it's like you build these glow-in-the-dark tracks, and it just makes a little circle, or you can build it around your house if you get more Magic Tracks to connect them. Yeah. So Woj just goes, fucking Magic Tracks. And Dennis is just like, man, we got to get the Magic Tracks. And it might have been Mex's idea. Mex is like, man, what if we had those? Oh my God. And Woj is like, fuck it. He pulls out his phone and he just dials the number. Fucking the game show comes on. He's on hold. He's ordering Magic Tracks. And he goes, how many do we want? And we're like, I don't know, like how many? And he goes, well, do we get one for each of us? We're like, 8 fucking sets of Magic Tracks. He goes, why? He goes, well, we can, it was either him or Mex goes, well, let's just get one and we'll share it. So like when you're done with it, you send it to my house and then you send it to his house and we'll just mail it around to one another and play magic tracks. And he's like, done. All right. And he ordered them. He orders magic tracks. And it's that thing where you're just like, of course you would. Why?
You're the sisterhood of the traveling magic tracks.
Huh?
You're the sisterhood of the traveling magic tracks.
No doubt.
Oh my God, Michael, you're scaring me.
That's totally fun. So we're playing. I cannot tell you how. I cannot tell you how soul cleansing it was in the moment to spend that week with those guys. Bad Prego fucking aside, it was so fucking fun. At one point, they're playing euchre in the backyard, and behind us, there was a big wall, like a stone wall in the back. Well, let me finish. So we ordered the magic tracks, and he orders them, and then we watch the game shows. We're laughing, we're yelling, we're screaming, and we're up all night. And then we watched game shows until late into the night, and then we crashed because we had to get up in the morning. I don't know. 3 weeks later, a month later, my phone just goes up. I pick it up. They're here. It's from Moj to everybody. Just a picture of the fucking magic tracks in his house. I'm like, oh, when is my week?
When is your week?
Well, we haven't hashed it out yet. I don't know who's in charge of that. I think Woj is still playing with them. Because this was just a couple of weeks ago.
I can't wait to see pictures.
Oh, I can't wait either.
Are you going to post pictures on your Patreon, or are you going to post those out for everyone?
Well, nobody on the Patreon cares about the magic tracks, but I mean, other people may, so maybe I'll just throw it on. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I might just play with them and not get time to take a photo. You're talking about magic tracks here,
Photos
Lily.
It doesn't happen.
So we were in the backyard once and we're hanging out, and kids are playing cards, we're cooking and all this stuff, or the guys are playing cards, and there's a stone wall in the back. So out of nowhere, a little girl just climbs up and sits on the wall. And she's looking at us. She's probably 12, 11. And she's just staring at us. And we're looking at her, we're like, that's fucking weird. And then she jumps back off the wall. And then a little boy climbs up, and he's the same age. And then he hops into our yard and he runs over and he grabs a tennis ball and he climbs over the fence. Like, they didn't want to ask us to get them their ball back, so they were just wondering who's over there now. And I'm sure these people rent the house out to a bunch of different people. So then they kept spying on us. Like, they kept looking over the wall at us and staring at us. So finally, they came running into the yard. Like, we were just like, because we were yelling at them like we were fake mad, but we weren't mad and they knew it. And then they finally hopped the fence and they're in the yard. And I don't have kids, so I'm not aware of what roughhousing rules are. I know you don't touch anybody. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to touch these kids. But these kids wound up, like, they were invading. They had sticks and stuff, like they were going to invade us. They're like, ha ha. And we're yelling at them like, oh, you think you're going to invade us? You think you're going to try to take our castle? It's not going to happen. And we were talking. And so then one of the kids, like, they jumped over like, ha ha. And they're like running in the yard. And so I grabbed a kitchen knife and I ran out and I started chasing the kids around the yard. Well, I did. They had weapons. They had like broomsticks and they were the fucking, the rescuers or the Goonies or whoever the fuck they were. But it was the closest thing I could grab. If there would have been a wooden spoon, I would have grabbed that. But instead I grabbed a fucking chef's knife. So I ran outside and they're running around. They're chasing Woj and Woj is chasing them. They're chasing in circles. And I was like, ha ha. And I ran out with the knife and I'm chasing. And the guys were like, dude. And all of a sudden I stopped and Woj was like, duh. Because then they're running away from me. And he's like, well, they're going to go tell their fucking parents you chased them with a goddamn chef's knife, you idiot. And I'm like, they know we're having fun. And he goes, they don't know you're having fun. They've known you 11 seconds. They've been in the yard 11 seconds. They have no idea how fun we are. Just because we're joking around with them and challenging them to come into the yard for a fight, then they come in and you grab a fucking chef's knife, you numbskull. I'm just having fun. I thought we were goofing around. Because they were they were racing. They raced Woj and like they were up and down the yard. No, we had a trampoline in the yard. Max was sleeping on it. I mean, it was fucking great. He was, because literally.
Oh, this seems like fun. I'm gonna take a nap.
It was as far away from us as he could possibly get. Because he doesn't care about, like, he's that guy who's like, I don't give a shit about no euchre. And it's like, all right, well, we're all gonna have fun playing euchre. If you want to go sleep on the trampoline, I suppose that's good. Because he needed a nap, whatever the fuck. But yeah, I chased the kids with a knife and I thought it was totally fun. I was like, this is great. And everybody's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm just like, we're goofing around. They know we're goofing around. No, they don't. You come running out with that. So you got a fucking giant hillbilly beard and a fucking chef's knife. You're chasing people around. What the fuck, dude?
You are so lucky the cops didn't show up.
Well, I got to be honest with you. We just wound up giving the kids the magic tracks and bought them off. You guys can get me at mikeandmikeschmidtcomedy.com. You guys can be my friends on facebook.com/the40year-old boy. You can follow me at twitter.com/the40year-old boy. I'm on Instagram and Snapchat at Mike40YOB. And look, all you cool Snapchatters like our friend Jake Bilbrey, he's a good guy. He contacted me. Turgaiv Peterson, Trigiv Trigiv. I don't know. He's a weird name. No offense, Trigiv. But it's a different name. It's not weird. Our friend Jamilton, who sends me photos of her little man in his little stroller as he's rolling around town. Lemon619, he actually corrected me. He sent me a video. He's like, you said I was Lemon 316. I'm Lemon 619, although he might be Lemon 916. I don't know. He's English. But he's out there. People sending me cool ass Snapchats. So thank you, all of you, for contacting me. Hannah, thank you for contacting me. Everybody, I will get back to you. I will tell you this. Anybody who contacted me on Snapchat with a note, I read it and then I did not answer it right away. And then I went back to answer it and the note's gone because that's how Snapchat works, motherfuckers. I still don't know. So I will answer you according to what I think you wrote me. So hopefully it will make sense. But so I'm on Instagram and Snapchat at Mike40YOB. Find me at all of those cool ass places. Dave Hernandez does all the music and the cool stuff for the show, the music, the artwork, everything. And you can find him at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and be his friend there. But if you'd like to buy stuff from him, of course, remember he's got his unbelievable Art by DMH website, artbydmh.com, artbydmh.com. He's got Guy Cons, he's got Valscapes, he's got individual artwork he can do for you. Whatever you request, he can do it. And trust me, he's the best. Now, I'll tell you this, he's no Amy Baker. I'm teasing. He's an Amy Baker. Of course he is. Amy Baker's a great friend of the show who, I will say this, just got into her first art show. Congratulations to Amy. I saw her posting that. She's been painting for a long time. She paints, it's funny. Mex paints anything. Mex is that dude who will make anything work. She paints, look, you paint what you love. So what does she paint? Wrestlers. That's what Amy paints. So she would like make paintings of like Dean Ambrose and the Shield and dudes like that.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. So she entered into some art show and she got approved. She's actually in the art show. I saw that on Facebook. And I thought that was really, she was very excited. Isn't it weird how you don't talk to people? You don't know anything about them except for what their Facebook provides. So you follow along. So all I know about Amy is in my feed, stuff that would come up periodically. Because when she first was listening to the show, she lived in the Northeast, possibly Vermont or Massachusetts. I don't know. But she would contact me then in 2011, 2012. I'm not contact me, but right on the page and stuff like that. And then I remember seeing recently, I don't even know how long ago it was, she moved all the way across country. And I think she lives in Oregon now, possibly, or Washington. So she lives up there and she moved alone. And now I think she got a cat. Like literally you see people's lives evolve just via posts on a social media site. And I bitch a lot about social media. You know what I mean? It's just, a lot of people use it for a lot of different things that I don't think that they should, or they end up getting caught in stuff, wind up a loop of, you, and I did too. Like I said, I was always like, look at my fantastic fucking life. This is great. And I may have felt that a little bit, but then there were other things. It's a mask. We all know it's a mask. But to actually see people's lives progress, you go, oh, that's kind of neat. So like I said, literally, I don't know. I've never met this person, but I know that she lived in the Northeast and then she traveled alone all the way to move to the complete West Coast. And then she was looking for a job and she finally got a good job. She went from temp to permanent just recently. And then she wound up getting a cat or a couple of cats. And now she's been accepted into this art show. And I was like, that's fucking cool. And again, I've literally never heard this person's voice, but it's so neat how you can see somebody. Yeah. And so, and the smallest thing you can do is like the post where you're like, that's cool. But at the same time, you almost want to go, hey man, I've seen your journey. Not unlike you have listened to mine. And I'm proud of you for what you've done. That's pretty cool. So, and that happens with all the people on here. Like when Liana wound up going to school, like when Liana first started listening, I think she was in college, maybe even high school. And then she wound up playing like field hockey and she did really well at that. And then she's becoming a lawyer. She's becoming a fucking lawyer now. It's badass.
You'll need one soon if you keep chasing kids with knives.
She's on retainer. So just know that I decry social media a lot of the time, and it can be a bad tool and people can use it incorrectly. But when it is still pretty great and it's still kind of a miracle. And honestly, if it wasn't for social media, I don't know if I have this going on, because I consider podcasting just a verbal outreach of social media, essentially. It's like they took radio and personalized it. So that's what it is. So there you go. So please know that I see you guys, and when you write me, you guys are cool, and I appreciate it very much. So congratulations to our friend Amy. I don't know how that even came up. So anyway, go to artbydmh.com and buy all of Mex's artwork, and that's pretty fantastic. Then, of course, our friend Ryan Dirks runs the website. He's the coolest. Again, as I say every week, I probably should contact Ryan because, we got some stuff that I had planned, and it's coming up, and who knows what'll happen. Our great friend, Superfan Gio, not super fan of me, but super fan of others. He may be dead by the time this is posted. I will not lie to you. If he's being truthful with me, he probably hasn't slept in 3 days because he has been
his job.
He thought about quitting his job, but he did not quit his job. But he's working, and then when he's home, it's literally this. He's just working nonstop. He'll text me at 2 a.m. my time, and then he'll text me, which I think he's on my time now because he moved. And then he'll text me at 10 a.m, and he'll text me at 8 and 6 and whatever. He's up all the time, and he's like, "Episode this is posted. Episode these are coming. I've got year 7 uploaded. I need this from you. I need this artwork." And I will tell you this, we talk about the YouTube channel. I'll do it. Well, should I plug the YouTube now, or should I talk about it on the other side? All right, please remember we've got the YouTube channel out there for you to go ahead and check out. Like I said, Superfan Gio, not of me, but others. He's very busy because he also curates all the love lines. He does all these amazing things for them as well as working for our show. And he worked really hard on uploading year 7, year 6, taking care of mistakes. You guys have contacted me and said, hey, there's some silence here. And he went and he fixes everything. So he went ahead and he asked me if I had the original videos. In year 6, Lily was sick one time, and I didn't want to sit at a fucking desk and do a show by myself. Because I think up to that point I never had done it. I had not done an alone show, and I just that's not what the show is. So I didn't want to do it. But as we know, it's evolved to include that sometimes. I mean, I'm capable of doing it. I just prefer to work with Lily in the room. But because she wasn't around and she let me know like the day before we were supposed to record, I was caught in a lurch. And I didn't want to put up a rerun because I had just put one up like 2 weeks prior, I think. Or I don't remember what the excuse was, but the bottom line is I had an idea and I said, this might be fun. And I did a video episode. And what I did was I took my phone and I recorded where I worked. I recorded downtown Hollywood. I recorded In-N-Out Burger. I went all over the place. We called it episode 36, Vin. So it was in between episode 36 and 37. And then it didn't count toward your download that year, but then we released the audio of it as an actual podcast. But it was episode 36, Vin, and I got Dave involved. So Dave started to do music for the interstitials, and then Dave started to put up actual videos, and he would send them to me, and I'd upload them. We put them sequentially on YouTube, and then it turned out the uploading was so hard. And then actually, that's the first time, Gio came to my house at that point, and he actually fixed a bunch of shit, and he uploaded a bunch of stuff for me. So it was great of him to reach out and do that then. And it's cool for him to be doing the business he's doing now. But the point is, he just finished year 6 and year 7. And he asked me, he goes, hey, you got the original video files for episode 36, Vin? Because I want to go ahead and put them up. And I wrote him, I go, dude, I might, but that would take me a while to find them. I have no idea where they'd be. They might be in my iPhoto, but I've got 2 separate iPhotos, and I've probably got 1,500 photos that I've taken since then that are all fucking in there. So I'm like, I gotta.
You're gonna say that are all of my cock.
Pretty close.
I really thought you were gonna say
Pretty close.
And when you didn't, I was just like.
Well, yeah, I got a ton of those.
I was like, why did that
No.
not?
Yeah, no, I've look, there's a ton of inappropriate photos that I would have to go through in order to find those videos.
Are
So,
those now available for public view again? Are you dating yet?
pardon me?
Are you dating yet?
No, what are you talking about?
Are you gonna start sharing sex videos and dating and doing all the things that people do when they're single?
I hadn't considered it. I mean, it's only been a couple of days, but good for you.
It's been a year in the coming.
Whatever. I don't know what you're talking about. So basically he said, hey, look, episode 36 it's out of sequence with where it's fitting in the thing. So do you want me to take a run at fixing it? Because it could look better than it does now, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, I'm okay with it the way it is, but if you are, again, not sleeping and you want to create some fucking work for yourself, go ahead. So he wrote me and he said that episode 36, he's gone in and fixed it and changed it and added a bunch of stuff to it, like transitional wipes and Dave's music and the artwork to link it. I have not had a chance to see it yet. It could fucking be awful. I have no idea. But the point is, Gio worked really hard on it. And if you ever wanted to see, because again, some of you are new, and which I know because last week you're just like, is your show always like this? That was interesting. People are like, hey, I've been listening to you for a year. I have a question. Like these people are all like, are you always at the end of the show ready to get into an ambulance? And I'm just like, eh. So basically, if you've never seen it, if you go to YouTube, episode 36, year 6, has been re-edited with transitions and Again, Gio, everything he wrote, he fancies himself an auteur, and I hope it looks really good. And I'm falling firmly on the side of cool, Gio, thanks for doing that. And I have not seen it yet, but I'm sure it's great. But it's transitions, and he used music, and he said he used artwork, and he said he spruced it up. So, and again, you'll get to see me talking, you'll see me driving, you'll see stuff. Now, the one thing I wanted to find, and I wanted to reinstate it, was when we did that episode, I actually filmed Lily's house. I drove to her house, and I said, this is where she is, and she was so fucking mad at me. And she's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you you're going to put up my address? You're going to tell people where I live? And she was really pissed. So I deleted those videos. We actually had to take them out of the circulation of it. And if I still had them, I would have reinserted them this time because you don't live there anymore. Yeah. So who the fuck cares? But I deleted them because I felt so awful when it happened. I was like, oh my God, no, I didn't even, we're just, again, because it's the same guy who runs out in the fucking yard with a knife after kids. Yes. He doesn't think 3 steps ahead.
So now the new thing is, remember the knife? Is that all I have to say now? You go, oh yeah, okay, so this is, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That'll set me straight. Because that's the thing is I showed Lily's house and I just thought, all right, this is cool. And I was like, here's where it is, because she used to live behind Hollywood and Highland. I'll tell you now.
You knew you could just go film it.
I don't even remember what the fuck I said, and I look so different.
No, but you could just go film, and you could go recreation of driving to Lily's house.
That's okay. That's fine. It was enough work the first fucking time I did it. So
and it is work to do video. Oh my God.
To do fucking 50 different videos of like 50 at 2 and 3 minute increments and driving all over the place while you're doing it.
It kind of makes you go, wow, TV's awesome.
Yeah. No, it was difficult to do, and especially because I was all off the top of my fucking head and driving, and here's this, and stuck in traffic, and then I was at my house, I was filming, and then I went, whatever the fuck. But it's a fun episode. Go check out episode 36, Vin, year 6, the video for it, because it was a video episode when it went up, and people were great. They followed along when we were doing it, but now it's up there as one complete piece, and he's actually done some things, and he said he made the transfer in HD. So a lot of it is now in HD, or some of it is in HD.
So it's not going to be compressed really crappy like it was before.
Right. Yeah. And also there was a fun ending, and he goes, man, it looks amazing. The ending does. So I haven't seen it. So go check it out. If you don't remember it, or you do remember it, even want to revisit it. He went ahead and did some hard work on it. So good for Gio, and thank him for all of his hard work. Episode 36, Vin, year 6. And please remember, all of the stuff's on YouTube now. I think up through, he's still doing year 7, but year 6 is complete. And like I said, man, if you want to just dive in and just grab 1 year and one number and listen, man, I'm fucking funny. Like I shocked even myself. I'm laughing at shit, and I'm going, I can't remember. And stuff that I should listen back to and try to curate into stand-up stuff or stuff for the stage. It's not all about longer stories. I mean, there are bits and shit like that just make me laugh. So I should do that. But there you go. That's available. Go check out the 40-Year-Old Boy YouTube channel. Subscribe. That's kind of a big deal. If you watch, that's cool, but subscribing is really cool because it lets YouTube know that people are active and watching it, and eventually I'll see a dime from it, I think, if I go ahead and fill out all the paperwork that I don't want to fucking fill out. God damn it. Why is it so hard? Why is everything so goddamn hard? My Fitbit, why is it so hard? He doesn't know what I eat. I have to tell him. How do you not know what I fucking eat, you dummy? You're on my wrist. All right. So that's Gio, that's Max, that's Ryan. And I saved the best for last, of course. The producer of the show is Lily Von Stupp. She happens to be sitting here right now. She's my friend. She's the best. You can find her at all sorts of different social media. Go to facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp and be your friend there. She needs friends these days, folks. She needs debate partners. She needs people to step right up.
I've lost friends.
Of course you have. We all have. Everybody has. So go ahead and find Lily at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can find her at Instagram. You're just Lily Von Stupp, correct?
Yeah.
Lily Von Stupp on Instagram. And then, of course, she's on Twitter, several different Twitter accounts, twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/MNTs, twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest, and twitter.com/Boobdini. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and send her a selfie of yourself with your mouth open wide to see just how deeply you can get the banana in.
No, please don't.
You can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili. Come up on stage and eat the banana from between her legs. .com. At burlesque, no, Lili. At burlesque411. No, at what the fuck?
Just.
Well, no.
Doesn't matter. Don't.
No, I got to repeat it again because you know what? Because I don't know it off the top of my head. That's Lily. At burlesque411. It's Lili. Fuck. What a chili dip on this. God damn it. You know what?
Just don't write me.
No, write her. You got to. You must. Please. Lili. at burlesque411.com.
Very good, Kyle. Very good. All right. Our next speaker is Timmy. Timmy, would you please come up here and give your show and tell presentation?
Okay, Mr. Lopez. For show and tell, I brought my dad's iPod. We listened to our favorite show, the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. His name is Mike, and he talks super fast about stuff. One time, his friend Larry fought the police, and Mike was scared by a talking Dracula, and he ran. One time, Mike was in a store, and a man who was poor came in and made number 2 on the floor. And then once, my dad and I are in the car, and we listen to him with my dad's car, who has an iPod vagina.
Whoa, Timmy, please.
Oh, I almost forgot. I got this shirt from the 40-Year-Old Boy. It has his friend Lily. She hurt her foot jumping on a pole.
Okay.
She is a stripple.
All right.
Thank you. The end.
Okay, thank you, Timmy. We're gonna stop now. For now, Timmy, could you come with me? We're gonna go for a little walk down the hall.
The 40-Year-Old Boy, Shaping Young Minds on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. I want to remind you folks about that, but unfortunately, when we took a break, a coup has broken out in our country, shockingly enough. If you were going to call it that, or I don't even know what the fuck to call it. All I know is that that every day a new thing happens, and I see it happen, and I go, Jesus Christ. Well, nothing else can happen. And then the next day, something else fucking happens. We finished the first half of the show, and then we stopped down, and Lily grabbed her phone, and she just put it in my face. She's like, what the fuck? And it just said that Trump had fired James Comey, the FBI director. And so we've just spent the last 40 minutes digesting that on social media and seeing with the New York Times and CNN and Fox and, fuck me in the ass 69 at twitter.com, what he had to say about it. He was very critical of the move. I will not lie. And so I'm hoping that eventually this podcast doesn't have to go underground. That would pretty much suck. And by the way, I'm here at the home of a Lily Von Stupp and a Rob the Balloon Guy. Please don't rob him. That's just his name. And of course, our great friend Eddie Madrano, funnyeddie.com. He's just, he just walked into the house, and I always feel terrible every single week because I block him in the driveway, or I'm here talking when he gets home after a hard day of twisting latex, and I feel awful that the man has come home to all he wants to do is take off his mustache and relax. That's all the fucking guy wants to do. And then I'm sitting here in his goddamn house. He's got to see me. I'm like the bad boyfriend. I'm underfoot, and it's terrible for him because he comes in. He just wants to enjoy a nice beverage. He wants to run his hands through his silver mane and think about all these things he's going to do, and he can bark like a dog in public. And then he's going to drift off into the bedroom by himself. And I feel bad that I've relegated you to your room, but thank you for letting me use your house again. Oh, I don't even get the real bark? You suck. That is a dude. That's a dude making that noise. And look, I'll tell you this. He makes it in his house. Oh, we're all hugging each other and thinking it's a wonderful thing. When he does it at Arby's, not as funny. I got to be honest.
Hysterical.
Oh, it's funny for Lily and Eddie as they think it's the best. But I will say the one thing he did do that made me laugh one time. I'll tell this story about a funnyeddie.com. I may have told this story on the show before. I don't know if I have. But he does that barking noise and he pulls out a fake ear, and it's a lot of yada yada yada. He's yakety sax and a big guy. That's all he is. He's literally the human version of yakety sax, but also with crazy talent because he was a Ringling Brothers clown. His mustache is ridiculous. I mean, he's just that dude. But one day, I didn't realize this because they had just started dating, and I knew who Funny Eddie was, and of course she's my Lily, so I got to approve of this dude. And I think it was one of the first few times I met him, and he's talking, and I was like, "So are you from here?" And he told me he was like a former Marine, and he was a Ringling Brothers clown. And he goes, "Yeah, I actually have a kid." And I was like, "Seriously?" I go, "Is he going to live with you and Lily?" He's like, "No, he lives with his mom." And I said, "Oh, great." He goes, "You want to see a photo?" I go, "Yeah." And he pulls out a photo, and it was a photo of a baby Ronald McDonald.
Did he do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's just a little baby in Ronald McDonald clown makeup. Oh, is it really? Look, he was carrying it in his wallet. He had it in his wallet in the fucking. He had it in the plastic. I mean, it wasn't like he was just like, ha ha. He literally pulled out his wallet like, oh my God, I can show you a picture of my son. And it was it was a.
Made you laugh?
Fuck yeah! I have to admit that made me laugh because it wasn't. I did not expect it at all, and it wasn't corny. Because then who the fuck does that? It just seemed ridiculous. And I have to admit, I blurt laughed when he did it. I was like, ah! And I was like, all right. And so then I approved of him being with you. It was okay. I figured it was all right at that point.
Hasn't he made my life so much better?
He has. I hope you know that.
Oh my God.
Because I will see you in your depths of despair, and I'll be down in the dumps, and you're worrying about the fact that we're becoming children of men, and you're wondering where you and Clive Owen are going to smuggle the black girl and then get her baby born. And then I'm like, hey, turn to your right.
Oh, every morning I wake up and I just look over and I think it's gonna be okay.
And in the midst of this news that we just received, and again, because you and I have had this, I don't know how to be around you sometimes, because you are, you know, you've got stuff. And then you're upset about the government, and you're upset about feminism and women's rights. And even like today, when I called you on the way over, I go, how you doing? You go, I said, you okay? How's everything? You okay? What's going on? You want some lunch? And you go, I'm not okay, but I'm okay. Well, I mean, I know your knee and your eye, and I know those things hurt, and I feel bad for you.
Well, that's just my way of just going, yeah, it's not a great day, but it's here, so let's do this.
I know, but let's look when I see your social media stuff, like I don't know how to react to what you're posting. I don't know what to say. And because again, that's about me and not about you, because I have my savior complex where I want to come in and go, oh man, don't worry. It's going to be cool. Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be great.
No, it's not. Nothing's going to be good now.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. I don't know, especially now this news, because she, you know, Lily's of the mind that we need to, because she literally goes, you know, I have to go to the bank when we're done because I have to deposit a large amount of cash because she has the Hollywood Burlesque Festival coming up and she's got bills due and things like that. She goes, I have to deposit a large amount of cash as soon as we're finished. But I don't think it's even worth it now. And I go, what? Going to the bank? She goes, no, cash.
Like,
I don't know if it's worth anything now. I don't know if money is, if you can still use cash or what, if we're on the gold standard. I'm like, well, you should probably melt some silver. That'll probably go ahead and work out for you.
I literally right now, I'm just sitting here going, we are on a precipice as a country right now, and I don't know what's going to happen.
And I hear what you're saying, and I feel the same way, and that's why I'm so exhausted. I actually had to distance myself from the news because for like 3 months I dove into it and I read it all the time. And now I've just kind of pulled out, and I'm trying to lift weights and work out and run and make myself feel better and change my circumstance.
That you'll be safe when the apocalypse comes.
I actually told
food?
Yes, I've actually thought about going shooting, like learning how to shoot. I'm not kidding. Just because I don't know what's going to happen.
Buy a gun now, because I don't know how long you're going to be able to.
Well, the thing that's so, to me, upsetting more than anything else. Look, Trump's terrible, in my opinion. I know a lot of people out there are like, wee, and you're going to spin this in some way where it's good for you, and I'm going to spin it where it's bad for me, and none of us are ever going to get along. I'm not going to change your fucking mind. You're not going to change mine. Right now, your team's winning. Good for you. So spike that football.
Your team is also burning down the fucking baseball field and the football field and the soccer field while they're winning.
Yes, but these people have still convinced themselves that's a good thing because he's draining the swamp and doing whatever the fuck. And I don't believe that. You don't believe that. But I'm not here to fucking, I'm not going to judge people for believing what they believe. I think if you voted for him, you voted for racism. I think you voted for sexism. I think you voted for fundamentally changing this fucking country forever. And I think you voted for full bank accounts for rich people and poor people scrapping for scraps. Yeah. That's what I think you voted for. But you think you voted for jobs and making America great again and swinging our big dick around and pushing around fucking Syria and ISIS. And you're scared of getting a bomb blown up in fucking Louisville or wherever you live. And I get it. That's fine. That's your thing. I think you're wrong. You think I'm wrong. I'm not going to fucking yell at you over it, and you shouldn't yell at me over it. All right. I know that's where we differ. That's what I'm talking about.
At it because I don't think that's what it comes down to. I think what it comes down to is pure hate.
Well, what I was going to say is the thing that leaves me more crestfallen and more disheartened than anything else is not so much the systematic dismantling of our country. I'm disappointed in that, but empires fall. Well, I'm just saying, I don't like it. I'm not on board with it. I wish it wasn't happening, but I will say, but again, the thing that bothers me more than anything is half the country or half of the people, the loud, vocal, whatever, they don't believe he's systematically dismantling the country. They think this is good. And that's what drives me crazy. Because even now we're on Twitter and we're seeing people going, this is shocking. This is a constitutional crisis now for our country, and we need to decide who we are and where we're going. And then in the Twitter thing, people are like, "Ha ha! Dry your liberal tears, MAGA!" And they're laughing. They think it's funny because again, there's that faction out there who are just like, "Ha ha! Burn everything fucking down. I don't care."
When your side is being applauded by the people who want everything in this country to be torn down and socialism to replace it, you don't realize that socialism isn't what's going to replace this.
Yeah,
dictatorship will.
Well, you've had your own.
Nobody goes, hey, here's a great idea. Let's tear this entire government down and start socialism.
Yeah,
That's not how it works.
you've been involved in your fights with the Bernie people and things like that. And but again, this is what I'm talking about. The very fact that we are still stuck in this 2016 spin cycle and we're allowing him to tear everything apart. Like there's the Bernie people who are like, he would have fucking won. And then there's the people who are like, well, Hillary, she allowed this to fucking happen. And then even Trump himself. I told you, you saw it. The thing you saw it. I don't know if you saw it. We didn't talk about it when I got here. Well, say something. Fucking talk. No, you're making a fucking face. Talk.
Just frying as you're saying.
Well,
this.
talk.
I don't have anything to say. I'm literally right now.
Am I
my
saying
head is
wrong
burning.
things?
No, my head is burning from it. I'm so angry.
All of it. I'm angry too.
What
But the thing that
today?
happened today, they said they released, because it's the 6-month thing from the election since November, and a guy tweeted today, I actually have video because they released, Kellyanne Conway released a screenshot of Huma when she called the night of the election to concede. And this guy said, I actually have video of Hillary conceding. I'm going to release it now soon so you can all see her conceding. And it's like, it's been 6 months. Nobody stop. She's gone. Leave her alone. I mean, she's back now talking on the fucking news or whatever, but you won. You fucking won. The most graceless losers I've ever seen. Even today in that letter to Comey, he's like, even though I thank you for telling me 3 times I wasn't under specific investigation, I do need to let you go. Like, he still has to put his fucking weird ego massaging bullshit in the middle of everything that he's done.
They're firing Comey because of the way he treated Hillary over the emails.
Of course they are, because they can say that. It's,
oh my fucking
but this
God,
is,
you spin fucking asshole.
But you know what this is? Again, and I've talked about it on here before, and it's tiring me out. That's a pickup artist's trick.
Yes.
That's a neg or a.
I just.
It's a way to go, well, no, you wanted this. You said to fire Comey 6 months ago. Well, yeah, because he fucked everything up on that investigation. And now, because he's coming after you, you're going to fire him and say it was our idea. It's all gaslighting, garbage, and bullshit. It just is. But the worst part is the people who go, yeah, man, he's draining the swamp. He's not a conventional politician. It's like, that's all he is a conventional politician. He's
Worse than a conventional politician. He's a pure capitalist businessman that cares about nothing or no one except his bottom line.
I feel that's who conventional politicians are. I mean, I feel that they have their agendas and they are all personally self-driven with their Jesus and their fucking guns and everything else. I mean, it's and we've talked about this before, and I'm sure people are clicking all over the country and turning me off or pulling out their fucking iPod vaginas. It's just that this hit us, like, literally I stopped down, and while whatever fucking song I played while you were listening, we heard all this and we had to do our investigations.
Can you do me a favor? Can you release this tonight instead of Wednesday, just in case there is no internet on Wednesday? I'd like people to hear our opinions in a timely manner about the fall of Western society.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if anybody out there is confused about our opinions. I think they pretty much know how we feel. We've made it pretty evident. And some of the emails I've received from people are, they've made it very evident that they know how I feel too, and maybe they're not that happy about it. But then there are people who wrote us and said, thank you, I needed to hear this.
Politics talk next. We'll have a secondary that comes out every other week.
I don't know how many times. Well, I can say they're burning it down. I mean, I don't know how many times because again, like I said, the thing is, I'm not changing anybody's mind. I'm not making anybody see the light. There are people who are ingrained and believe the way I believe, and there are people who are ingrained and think that I'm the enemy or I'm wrong, and they think Trump is a genius and he's doing all these right things, even though he's polluting rivers. Like, it's the weirdest fucking thing. He's like,
how do you not change somebody's mind when you talk about that? I don't understand if their minds are just so closed. I don't understand. And again, I apologize if you're out there and you're a huge Trump person, because I'm telling you shit you don't want to hear, I guess.
But here's the thing that you don't understand. It's sports. And you might understand this. I apologize.
I do understand that.
Okay.
And if your
but
entire investment in our politics is that your side won, how is that going to play for you when you go home from the field and you have no food in your kitchen and no social programs to take care of?
Oh, that's not going to happen, MAGA. I'm just telling you, there are people who are, I think, blind to the circumstances. And also, I told you, I read this article on trolls on 4chan and how they were the first ones to take up, they're the deplorables and all this. Yeah. And the way they see it, their lives couldn't get any worse anyway. They figure the boomers have ruined this country, so there's no jobs. They're living at home with their parents at 24, 26. and they're playing video games because in those video games they're strong and they're heroes and they can do what they want. So they figure the rest of the world, well, fuck them. This whole thing's a joke. They think the whole thing's a laugh, and they'll do what they can to burn it down because, hey man, I'm not getting anything out of this. It's another reason why they approach women the way they do.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
I know.
women won't fuck me, so I hate them. You know what I mean? Like it's this weird thing. Blacks aren't nice to me or whatever, so I hate them. It's a weird
They're just different.
bullying
They're a
mentality.
whole different mentality.
And look, I'm not painting all of you with that broad brush. Some of you out there may think that Trump was going to bring back jobs. Some of you out there may
and
think,
you've been fooled.
and some of you may have thought Hillary was just terrible and you didn't want her anywhere near the government. And I got to be honest with you. Look, I supported Hillary hardcore. I mean, I absolutely thought she was qualified for the job. I thought she was ready for the job, and I thought she would do a good job. But there is a part of me that has a little bit of dynasty fatigue. I don't want to hear Bush's names. I don't. It's like when they float Chelsea, or when I got to hear. I'm like, I don't want to fucking hear that name again. Not now. Let's figure out what the fuck is going on before you start shoving Chelsea Clinton down my throat and tell me that she might run for senator or she might run for this. I don't want to know that. Like I said, when the election happened, in my opinion, if I was Hillary Clinton, she's got to have fucking $50 million in the bank, her and Bill, and I would have just been like, you know what, fuck you. Fuck everybody and go. It's the same reason I didn't realize why Trump wanted the job. I know power is a big deal for people, but fuck, man, if you're
Trump
a billionaire.
wants the job for the exact reason I said before, because he doesn't want to just hurt his enemy. He wants to put his enemy down, and he won't be unhappy until he's come on his enemy's face while his kids are watching, his house is burning down, and he can fucking laugh at him until the guy fucking crumbles.
Well, I don't think that. I mean, I
do.
think
Trump is that person.
I hear you.
It
No,
is the
Trump
art
is a
of the war.
Trump is a self-involved, severe narcissist, and I don't think it's even about. I mean, he has a vendetta against Obama because of the fucking the correspondence dinner. So this was essentially taken up as a way to erase Obama from the history books, what they're trying to do every single day. And he didn't care who helped him to do it. But also, that's the way he built his business empire. He didn't care if he was in with the mob in New York. Whoever helped him accomplish his stuff.
My enemy's enemy is my friend. That is his motto completely.
But the only friend he has is himself.
Yep.
He has nobody else. And that's why it's funny to see all these senators cower around him because he's Julius fucking Caesar. It's the weirdest thing in the world. But I mean, you think he's a world destroyer. I just think he's a fucking psychopathic narcissist who unfortunately has his finger on the button, which could lead to world destruction.
Well,
but I don't think he
you're
took.
being funded by someone who is a world destroyer. You kind of start to become a puppet.
But it's money. I mean, the Russians wanted him. They honestly, I think they were even shocked they got him in. With all the dumb shit that they did. I think they just wanted to.
I don't think there was a covert between the two of them. There was business between the two of them. Creating enough chaos and destabilizing would have helped them no matter what happened.
See, let me tell you this. Russia was trying to be the TV Joker. Russia initially involved themselves in the election because they were trying to be the Batman TV Joker, but instead they turned out being the Dark Knight Joker. They thought that they were going to have him play pranks and have a giant clam, and they were going to go ahead and I've just built a giant magnet. Hey, I've just changed all the water in the city to strawberry jelly. They thought they're going to be the Cesar Romero Joker. Instead, they got they are the fucking Dark Knight Joker, and they're setting fire to piles of fucking cash, and they're shocked and they're happy because they're going to benefit from it. They're the ones who are going to benefit from it because he's going to, Tillerson, all of those dudes are going to step down. And look, I recognize, and again, I hate to do this false equivalence thing. I'm just a comedian. I'm just talking. I don't mean to invalidate my own opinion, but I know I try to get ahead of it because I know people out there are just like, oh my God, dude, just make us laugh. But in reality, we all live here. We all are experiencing what's going on. And I know some of you don't agree with me and some of you do completely agree with me. But just having this news hit me, dude, this is, I want to say that this is Nixon-like, except the country was appalled when Nixon did what he did. Half the country right now is not appalled. They're cheering this and spiking the football and acting like it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm astonished by that. That's the thing I told you. The thing that's always been really hit home for me.
The country feels like the only way they can get anything is if they tear down the other side.
Yes, it's
You know
sports.
what? I'm not that person.
No.
You take your power and you raise people up with you.
You hope. But unfortunately, things have atrophied to such a way where, the bankers and the people who got off in 2008 are looked upon as the weirdest things that somehow they became Democrats in everybody's eyes. Because like, oh yeah, Hillary was beholden to them because she made some speeches at Goldman Sachs. Donald Trump is a walking Goldman Sachs address in a suit. That's who he is. But for some reason, they conveniently ignore maybe because he doesn't have a fucking pussy. I don't know. But they fucking hated Hillary because they hated Bill and all this fucking horseshit. It's just weird to see it manifest itself this way. And the thing that's bothered me the most about all of this, as I told you, is that Donald Trump will be taught in history books. I granted, every single day, I'm starting to wonder.
Disneyland in
Yes, that was my next thing I was going to say.
I'm sorry. It's
fine.
It makes me ill.
But every day that goes by, I'm wondering if we will still have history books.
No, but they started that.
Well,
years
in
ago,
Texas, they make their own fucking rules. They teach creationism. They're all that. I know.
which
and
led to where we are right now.
And I don't know, and that's the false equivalence thing. Well, we got to let everybody have their opinion. We got to let everybody feel the way that they feel. And there is no right or wrong. There's only how you feel and how it affects you. And look, I'm as guilty of that as anybody else. I told you there used to be a thing where think globally, act locally. I said I don't think any more than I can reach now. I mean, I got to make sure I get through this alive. I just want to make sure, like I said, I got 25 years left, and I want to do the best I can to do everything I can before the water wars start.
We're getting close.
So the Monday Night Tease is a great show. You should get tickets for it unless you're hoarding cash, like our friend Lily. Or if cash is useless by next week. I have no idea. It could be. But the Monday Night Tease is available now. If you go to the Facebook.com/Monday Night Tease page, you can follow along.
You can buy tickets at Brown Paper Tickets, or you can just bring me a chicken or food at the door at this point.
A head of cabbage, will that work?
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
taking food at the door.
Take canned goods because the other stuff's perishable. So please make sure you come out to the Burlesque 411 or the Monday Night Tease.
We're going to have the end of the world show every week till it happens.
Go to Facebook.com/Monday Night Tease and see all the acts that are coming and when they're going to be there and have a good time. Last night's show was good.
Yeah, it was hysterical.
Fantastic. Yeah. Please go ahead and get some tickets. And please remember this. Hollywood Burlesque Festival tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com. I've heard today there may be a nice celebrity judge on the way. Who knows?
We got a couple great celebrity judges, but we can't talk about the judges because I'm afraid that the competitors will try to contact the judges and get in their favor and shit like that.
Correct. And also you can't name the judges because they may be assassinated by a junta put in place by President Trump when he outlaws burlesque in the next couple of weeks.
You don't think I haven't thought about that?
Of course.
They go after the artists right after they go.
Yes, they do. Because you know why? Because they are all failed artists and comedians. A lot of them are. And that's like these dudes on Twitter. They all, like those YouTube dudes, when they say nigger and they think I'm a comic. What are you talking about? I'm protected. I made a joke. It's funny. It's like, no, there's nuance and you don't understand what the fuck you're doing. So Monday Night Tease available now. Tickets at Brown Paper Tickets. Hollywood Burlesque Festival. Remember, if you come on out, dinner with me, download set of your choice, whatever you guys want. So please buy some tickets and let Lily know.
Somebody emailed me that they're coming. They're not going to make it for 2020. They're coming the following week, and they want to. Did they contact you as well?
No. They want
will.
to have dinner with you. No, they don't want to talk to
No,
me.
they want to have dinner with you. They're
Incorrect.
like, we're going to miss it.
Yeah, no, they want to hang out with you probably.
They're hoping you're going to come to the following show so that they can see you. Okay, email Mike. Don't just email me.
Well, no, they want to
Because
see
I
you. That's the whole
fucking can't
point.
do anything. No. They were pissed that they're going to be here in between.
All right, well, those tickets are available.
Too much stuff to do.
All right, contact me. I'm around. But also, it's funny you would mention 2020.
What is that?
That's a comedy show that I book.
What?
And you host you host it. You don't host it. You host the venue. I host the show. Next week, which is May 17th, possibly?
15th.
May 15th, Monday, May 15th. Tickets are on sale now for 2020 at brownpapertickets.com, and tickets available at the door. Coming out and see me and the very funny Karen Rontowski, who will be joining me from, she was on David Letterman. She's a really terrific comic. She travels all over the place. Very funny. And Jessica Michael Singleton. I'm hoping I have that right, as she is a very fancy name for, she's a kind of a fancy lady.
I'll pull it up right now.
All right, we're going to pull up that name because I'm pretty sure
Did you
it's...
say Jessica Michael?
I said Jessica Michael Singleton. That's what I believe her name is.
Michelle?
It could be Michelle. But I'm just, I have a thing in my head. Jessica Michelle Singleton will be coming to town and working at my show next week. So it's me, Jessica Michelle Singleton, and Karen Rontowski.
Yeah.
They'll be coming out and having a great show next week, 2020. Buy tickets now at Brown Paper Tickets. And if you're coming, let me know. I know Kilt Bill's coming. He let me know.
Yay!
Haven't seen
missed you.
him in a couple of months, so I'm glad he's going to come up. And if you're in town, buy some tickets, come out and check out the show, and then we'll all go out to the Oyster afterwards and have a big-ass fucking pulled
Or
pork
stay
sandwich.
for Monday Night Tease.
All right, we'll do that. Don't get all frustrated. Tell me to say that.
Very sad.
All right.
Just go out to the truck
Well-
and get some tater tots and shit and come back to the show.
All right, go to the taco truck and go get some food, and then come back in and watch Naked Ladies. That's all perfect. It's a great night. One night, one venue. So please stick around for Monday Night Tease. But next week, 2020, May 15th, me, Jessica Michelle Singleton, and the very funny Karen Rontowski, all of us will be there telling jokes and making people laugh. Could it be you? It could if you show up. I mentioned the YouTube channel. Go subscribe and do all that nonsense. Let's talk about this. Patreon exists. Remember that our Patreon is out there. And next week, I will be prepared with names to thank. But there were new people who went ahead and jumped on here this past week. And I will go ahead, because again, I'll give you another week. We'll get people online. And then next week, I will start some heavy duty thanking. And I will mention people and talk about them. And I will go ahead and throw up that image that for your Facebook or your Twitter page. I can put that up. And that'll be available via the website, the Patreon website for donors. And I'll write a blog and thank you and all sorts of cool stuff. So stick around. That's happening. But the Patreon page is available now if you go to Patreon. And I believe it's under, I don't know if it's under Mike Schmidt or Mike40YOB. But you can just Google Mike Schmidt Patreon and it'll come up. And if it's not a baseball player or a reporter for the New York Times, you know it's me. And my picture's right on the fucking page. So if you're going to donate, you'll see my face. So I cannot thank you enough. I told you I would give you a monthly rundown. I think I may go public with the number because people are giving money and I'm getting close to goals. And people, that's a cool thing is people see your goals and they're like, well, I want to help him achieve his goal. Who fucking knows? But if we can get, honestly, if I get a few more, like a couple $100 more bucks, I'm going to start scheduling out of town stuff. And good. I'm going to start doing at least one show a week out of town. Good. That's kind of the goal. I'd love to do more, but right now let's start fucking slow, but we'll do one show a week out of town. And then, when I'm out there, we'll hang out and I'll again, dinner, whatever the fuck. You guys can do all that stuff. So please go to the Patreon page and support this show, support me doing this and live comedy and all that neat stuff. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you to everybody who has stepped up and given money. And thank you to all those in the future who are going to step up. I know our friend Amanda Howlett gave money. Thank you, Amanda. That was super cool of you. And I mentioned Francesca, and I'm supposed to say Francesca Crofts. Let's just say her last name. Francesca Crofts gave money. And I will mention the other people who gave me money. Manny Garcia. I mentioned him earlier. I just said Manny, but let's give his last name so he gets full credits.
You were going to mention people.
I know, but these are people popping in my head right now.
Yeah,
so.
But you didn't mention last month, and now you're mentioning the new people. Pull it up and just do it.
Do
the work.
But all right, but now we got a fucking delay while I go ahead and pull shit up on the goddamn computer. Yeah, we do, because now people are like, oh, this is fucking boring. I'm turning it off because he's fucking digging on the web, and it's just terrible. I hate it.
You can't talk about something while you're pulling up.
No, I'm trying to. That's what I'm doing right now, but it drives me fucking crazy.
Job.
Huh?
I think you're doing
just because you're filling the gaps here if I had to fucking concentrate and shit.
I'll fill in the gap.
All right, mind the gap. All right, so let's take a look here.
Look, the Patreon page is up already. That was hard.
No, I'm going to go actually via the emails who've alerted me that Craig Smith has just jumped on board.
Okay, we have to stop about this because we have to talk about this. In Patreon, there is a sheet that comes up that tells you all of the people.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is. Go into Patreon.
I don't want to dig. I can do it for my fucking email with pulling up one fucking screen. Why are you my boss?
Because you won't. Because if you're gonna, you asked me.
Fine, I'm in Patreon. Where do I go? See, this is what I wanted to avoid on the fucking air. What am I doing? Tell me where I'm going.
Hell in a handbag.
Of course. Where do I pull it up? Under my account page?
All the rest of us.
Okay, my pledges. There we go. My pledges. We'll go there.
Yeah, that was really hard.
That was hard enough because I had to fucking do it. I was already there. Oh no, those are my pledges, kiddo. So
I'm not in front of it because you're yelling at me.
Patron manager, edit creator page, messages, your pledges, account settings, invite creators. See, nobody gives a fuck about this. This is not good. This is not a good show. Fine. Go to the dashboard.
Over here, you're going to go to
patrons.
Patrons, yes.
Fine, let's go. Patron manager. All right, cool.
There you go.
Fine, let's talk about everybody.
Difficult.
Fantastic.
Okay,
so
now this is all of your new ones that just came in this month.
Our great friend Liana Dixon, our great friend Paul Pepper, the lovely Todd Rush, and of course Manny Garcia, who I've mentioned. Those people stepped up and donated, which is really, really cool. Then, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Rick Wellbanks, who's gone ahead and stepped up. Fuck yeah, Rick Wellbanks. Adriana DeRuse, who is a terrific person. She actually was one of the GoFundMe or the Kickstarter people way back in the day. Chuck Hudspeth, who is the coolest, who was the guy who sent me my my GoPro, which I don't have any cords for that. He left. He's told me to keep the camera, but then there's no cords. So it's just like, it's a nice paperweight. I got it, which is fine. Okay, well, there's no cords, so it won't work. The lovely Thomas Faust. Who, if you may remember, Tom was transferred to the London office, and Thorgar and Yeep were very disappointed about that. And honestly, I think Thorgar and Yeep may have something else to say about that in the future. Who knows? Because they've been stewing about it for quite a while. Thomas Faust, like I mentioned, Jamie Ditterline, who is a fantastic show friend and really great. Her and Hector and her daughter. I don't want to say her daughter's name because she's underage, and then you guys will kidnap her, and then I get fucking blamed. But Jamie Ditterline, of course, Benjamin Tahia. Or Taja, or whatever you want to call him. That's just Ben. He's the coolest guy ever. I've actually been to his house and been on a couple of his podcasts and eaten his food. which was totally cool. So thank you, Ben. Brian Merton stepped up. Thank you, Brian Merton. You're the coolest of all time. Anthony Dunker from Australia. He stepped up and donated. Brian Merton, I don't want to shortchange Brian Merton. I think he was a donator for a long time too. Brian Merton, Anthony Dunker, I said stepped up. Timothy Radke, the coolest Tim Radke from Illinois or the Iowa or Wisconsin. He's in one of those areas. Derek Leitner, whose wedding I attended, to the lovely Mara. Matt Pipkin, Matthew Henshaw, Colette Lindemann. I think I've mentioned these people before. So Matthew Henshaw, by the way, let me talk about this for a second. Matthew Henshaw released a book of poetry. What a mess, but good for him. And I think you can buy it or get it somewhere. But he's the coolest guy and very supportive. But I knew he put out a book of, I don't know if it was haikus or what.
Is it available on Amazon? You can put it on your Amazon page.
It might be. I'll go ahead and do that. Or find Matthew Henshaw on Facebook and go, dude, where do I get this fucking prose that you churned out, man? I heard so much about it on the 40-Year-Old Boy Show. And so he's the guy. So Tim Radke, Derek Leitner, Matt Pipkin, Matthew Henshaw, Colette Lindemann, Casey Murphy, Murph reached out to me this week. Thank you so much. Good to hear from you. I'll answer you back eventually. Johnny Sheffield. It's just John Sheffield, but I call him Johnny because he's my pal. Aaron Swain, Sam Dentith. And here's the guy who donated, which is weird. Superfan Giovanni. Not super fan of me, but super fan of others.
I think that qualifies as superfan.
He's a patron. Good for him. Jeff Thomas. And I may repeat some names. Yell at me if I did. Jeff Thomas. Drew Bennett has stepped up. That's our good friend Drew. I mentioned last week's show, and he scolded me. He's the avocado-eating fiend. Of course, Greg Hazard. Greg Hazard's been on since the beginning. Been really donating, really cool. Andrew Reynolds as well. Greg Hazard, Andrew Reynolds, Eric Hoffman. That's Eric with a CK, friends. That's right. He's fucking bogarting that extra consonant. So he's like, you know what he eats for dinner? Rigamatoni. Fuck yeah. Eric Hoffman likes consonants, and he likes rigamatoni. So step the fuck off, Gigantor. Dylan Sumter is our great friend. Dylan reached out. Nick James, all caps Nick James. Ben Campbell from overseas. Thank you, Ben Campbell. Thank you, Nick James. Thank you, Dylan Sumter. Thank you, K. Joe Johnson. That's Catherine Johnson. She's from Toronto. She's made, all right, I should tell you this offer she's made to me. She's like, I'm just going to say it now because I've never answered her email, so I'll answer it here because I'm a dick. She's like, hey, you said you got a bunch of leftover shirts and nobody's ever buying them. And that's true. I got a ton of dirt shirts in my house. She's like, why don't you send them to me and I will make you a quilt out of them. And I'm like, that is the coolest fucking idea ever, except it's going to cost me $180 to ship the fucking shirts to Toronto so she can make me a goddamn quilt.
Okay, let me help you on this.
Yes.
We can cut the backs of the shirts off and get rid of half the weight.
Oh, that's awful. Now we're just willfully destroying property.
Well, that's what she's going to have to do with them.
That's her job.
Cut them into squares.
What if I cut it wrong?
The excess stuff. You just ask her, how big do you want the pieces to be? Do you need 4x4? Do you need 2x2? What do you need?
No, because then I'm going to cut it wrong and she's not going to, you know what? That's all I need. I cut it wrong. I send it to her. She goes, couldn't make you a quilt, but here's 111 wash rags. I'd be like, oh, God damn it. But also I'm a little more worried about the cost of shipping stuff to Canada. I mean, it's a lot of dough, man. So, K. Joe's in Toronto and she made that offer and she's also a supporter of the show. K. Joe Johnson, karaoke genius, karaoke diva, karaoke queen, Caribbean queen. Are you sharing the same dream? I think we are. Melinda Lovett. Thank you, Melinda Lovett. Thank you so much for stepping up. You're the coolest. Melinda Lovett has stepped up. She's the best. Tom Packner. Tommy Packner's a longtime friend from Wisconsin, a longtime donor. He used to give money on the PayPal, and now he's giving the money via the Patreon. So thank you, Tom Packner. Here's Craig Smith, who I already mentioned. He's new. Francesca Crofts. Amanda Howlett, who I've mentioned already on the show. Anne Marie, that's, I don't want to say, she didn't give a last name. It's just Anne Marie. KC Bills is out there. The name Lou. And so when people use a name, I'm just going to use the name they donated under, even though I know who they are, because I don't know if they really want me to use a different name. But thank you, Lou, for stepping up and donating. KC Bills, again, a friend from Wisconsin. He's the coolest. He's out there with his wife, Andrea. He texts me. I text him. I say, I hope Andrea is well. And he's like, I don't care if she is well or not. And I'm like, that seems rude. It's your wife. And he says, new phone, who dis? And he throws it in the toilet and he buys a new phone. Matthew Elias Hebert, or Hebert, I would imagine. Eric Pearson, that's Eric with a K. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Lou. Paul, what if that's Lou, my neighbor? Holy God, wait a second. What if it's Lou, the racist bartender, who's donating some money to me? That's fantastic. He steps up and sends me like, he's donating, I don't want to say his amount, but whatever it is, I know it's covered in cherry juice and vodka because he's teaching bar, and he's going ahead and donated his amount. Well, good for you. I like sticky money. I'll take that, Lou. Matthew, Eric, Paul Murray, The awesome Paul Murray. Ellen O'Connell, who's a great friend and who has sent me packages in the past. She's really nice. She's donated to the show. I met Ellen O'Connell at Podfest last year. I mentioned Ellen because she came to Podfest to see the show, and then she had to leave because of a family emergency before seeing my show. It was weird. She was she was the one who offered to like work the festival, and then they never got back to her. So then she bought a pass, and then she got there and they go, "Oh, good, you can work the festival." I don't know if they ever got her money back for her pass. She should have. But and then she had to leave for a family emergency. What a waste. But thank you, Ellen O'Connell. Appreciate that. Jason Turnbaugh, great friend of mine. He's from down in Orange County. And Jason's the best. He's got a better beard than me, thankfully. I mean, who doesn't? Let's be honest at this point. Jason Turnbaugh. Carrie Kaukinen. Kaukinen? I'm going to assume it's Kaukinen. Carrie Kaukinen. Thank you, Carrie. Double K. KK. Matt Keltonen. Thank you, Maddie. Maddie Kelton. I apologize. I want to say Maddie Kelton. I don't want to shorten it. Our friend Jolene McKillop, who I'll go ahead and I'll take the cat out of the bag right now. I'm also going to her wedding later this year.
What?
That's right. Jolene McKillop is marrying Dr. Mike. They call him Dr. Mike.
Are you being booked for the wedding? Like
No.
booked for your wake?
I'm being invited as a guest.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to Jolene and Dr. Mike's wedding.
Speaker at a wedding.
Oh, I'm going to give the best man toast. There's no doubt. I'm going to make sure he's like kidnapped and put in a broom closet, and I'll have to go ahead and talk. Jolene McKillop and Dr. Mike. But you know what, Dr. Mike, you're not donating. Why am I saying your fucking name? Jolene McKillop, however.
We're donating together.
Well, not yet. They're not betrothed. Jolene she's an acupuncturist. Did you know that about her? Jolene. Eric Price, also Eric with a K. Thank you, Eric, for stepping up. Wait, is there two different Eric Prices? No. Who's the other? Oh, Eric Pearson has a K. Eric Price, Eric Pearson, Chad Thomas Watson. You may remember him running alongside Don Johnson in Miami Vice as they busted people. Chad
Serial killer.
Thomas Watson. That's a good children. Chad's a pretty good serial killer name, I guess, but the three names is absolutely key. Chad Thomas Watson. Les Gebhardt, who has come to the Monday Night Teas in 2020 because he's in town, but now he's taking a job teaching school to immigrants. He's actually flying to Europe, and he's going to teach English in like Slovakia or some nonsense. And I'm like, well,
Great.
yeah, good. You'll never come back because they're going to close the borders and build the wall. Buddy, you're gone, Les. Good for you, but make sure that money keeps flowing, please.
Good for you to be in another country. Is this shit awful?
When he moves to another country, I wonder will his donation to the show come in rupees or some other
I believe
fucking.
we're all going to have rupees. I think that was the next extension of my "There is no cash" after this.
Ooh, I can't wait to leave here. I'm going to eat
I
rupees
wonder
for
what
dinner.
the rupee to dollar exchange is.
I'm
gonna
not
look that
sure.
up.
Renee D'Ambrosio. Thank you, Renee. You're the coolest. Renee D'Ambrosio has donated to the show. Michael Ralia. I believe he was on the Watergate prosecution team, wasn't he? Michael Ralia? Ralia? Les Gebhardt, Renee D'Ambrosio, Michael Ralia. Brett McCallan steps up and donates to the show. Thank you, Brett. You're the coolest. David Estall and J.D. Ellis. Now, I should tell you this. I'm also going to their wedding. David Estall and J.D. Ellis. They're getting married, and they invited me. God damn, you're on the phone, and you're missing me fucking talking. Fuck
I'm
that.
laughing.
No, you're not. David Estall and J.D. Ellis. Blake Cotton. Thank you so much for donating to the show. You're the best. Bonnie Varan. Blake Cotton, Bonnie Varan, Stephanie Mack, Return of the Mac. Oh, look at Stephanie in the house. The Return of the Mac is in full effect. Bonnie Varan, Blake Cotton, Stephanie Mack, Ruben Cohen. You know, this would probably go faster if I didn't repeat the names over and over.
I think it's great that you do.
Sure it is. Ruben Cohen. Well, I don't want to just go blah, 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 blah. Hey, Jake. Thank you for donating to the show, Jake. You're the coolest, Jake. Ruben Cohen, Jake, Scott Gerwitz, who's also a longtime donor, James Williams. Now, that sounds like an alias, if I can be honest with you. That is absolutely, there's no way a James, I've got 19 Erics with a K and then a James Williams pushes open the saloon doors? I don't think so. Step up your nom de plume game, James Williams. Carlton Dorner, who I've had sushi with. Thank you, Carlton. You're the best Carlton I've ever met. Jesse Alora is really a great guy, and he's a donator, and he and his wife are big fans, and I think they saw me live up north. You got a thing you're going to say? You're just sick of this? You're the one who made me fucking do this.
No, I'm not sick of this. I do have to interrupt real quickly, though.
Go ahead.
I have $117 to my name right now in my checking account. I hope Russia takes over because at the exchange rate we have right now, I would have 6,821 rubles in my account instead.
Well,
I sound richer already. I'm kind of coming on board with the Russian takeover.
You know what I'm going to call that? You're red rich. In America, not so good, but right now you are red rich.
Oh, in America, ruble make you.
Well, rubles you looked up, yes?
Ruble.
Yeah, because rupees are India.
You know what? Our exchange rate's going to be to the roofies. It's Trump.
Yeah, you are commie flush. You are red
Commie
rich.
flush.
Carlton Dorner, Jesse Alora, Wayne Pishew, thank you. Charles Kingsbury, who, I don't know if you know this, I lived on Kingsbury Grade when I was in Tahoe, and that's where I first met Charles. I was 20 when I lived there, and he was 1. But we hung out for a while. He seemed pretty nice. He was a cool guy. He'd come over. We'd play some like Mac football, and I struck up a friendship with him. And he said in his baby voice, he said, "One day I'm going to give you a certain amount of money a month. I don't want to reveal the amount, but thank you so much, Charles." Wayne Pishew, Jesse Alora, Carlton Durner, Charles Kingsbury, John Moulton. John Moulton is the best. Thank you, John Moulton, for stepping up. Jerome, what the hell? Hold on a second. Is this the guy who owns GetTheButters.com? I think it is.
What?
Jerome Stewart Nichols, you are the best. Thank you so much for stepping up. Dorothy A. Bosford, Hannah Frostman, Stephen Brogy. That's John Moulton, Jerome Stewart Nichols, Dorothy A. Bosford, Hannah Frostman, Stephen Brogy, Nick Ramirez, and Paul Was. These are people who are donating to the show, folks. You are all patrons. Wait a second. Here's people who chose to donate without a reward. Ahmad from Kuwait. Thank you, my great friend Ahmad. He has stepped up. Ahmad's going to be here in July. Have I mentioned that? He's coming out here to see wrestling with me. We're going to a wrestling thing. That's going to be fun to tell you about. So Ahmad will be here from Kuwait. And Cameron. Thank you, Cameron, for donating. You don't want a reward, but I'm happy to give it to you anyway. So Cameron, Ahmad, Paul Was, Nick Ramirez, Stephen Brogy, Hannah Frostman, Dorothy Bosford, Jerome Stewart Nichols, John Moulton. What if I just ran down everybody else? I ran them all down, said them all.
Do it.
Charles Kingsbury, Wayne Pishew, Jesse Alora, Carlton Durner, James Williams, yeah, right. Scott Gerwitz, Jake, Reuben Cohen, Stephanie Mack, Bonnie Varan, Blake Cotton. Put me on fast speed on your iPod. Make it double time. See how it sounds. Make me chipmunk style. J.D. Ellis, David Estall, Brett McCallan, E. Michael Ralia, Renee D'Ambrosio, Les Gebhardt, Chad Thomas Watson, Eric Price, Eric with a K, Jolene McKillop, and Dr. Mike, Maddie Keltonen, Carrie Kaukkinen, and that's Carrie Kaukkinen with 2 Ks. 3 Ks. There's another K in Kaukkinen. Jason Turnball, Ellen O'Connell, Paul Murray, Eric Pearson, Eric with a K, Matthew Elias, Hebert, Lou, KC Bills, now that's KC with a K, Anne Marie, Amanda Howlett, Francesca Crofts, Craig Smith, Tom Packner, Melinda Lovett, K. Joe Johnson, Ben Campbell, Nick James, Dylan Sumter, Eric Hoffman with a CK, he likes rigamatoni, Andrew Reynolds, Greg Hazard, Drew Bennett, you avocado-eating motherfucker, Jeff Thomas, Superfan Geo, not super fan of me, but super fan of others. Sam Dentith, Aaron Swain, John Sheffield, Casey Murphy, also with a K. Colette Marine Lindeman. You left out your middle name in your donation, but I happen to know it because, fuck yeah, I know everything about your goddamn name, Colette Marine Lindeman. Matthew Henshaw, go buy his poetry. I don't know why you would, but why not? Matt Pipkin, Derek Leitner. I went to his wedding. It was a beautiful affair, and I wish I was still there. Timothy Radke, whose son is coming back from the Navy. He was overseas, and now he's, because Tim's flying out to meet him at Pearl Harbor. And I remember, it was funny, he's writing me, and I was like, I remember when your kid went away. Jesus Christ, I've been talking to you a long fucking time. Tim's like, I saw you in Chicago. I need you to come back because now my other son is 18 and you actually see the show. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Well, that's the reason to book it, is so Tim Radke's son can see me and be corrupted, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Anthony Dunker down in Australia. Brian Merton, I don't know where you live. Benjamin Tahia, I know exactly where you fucking live. Jamie Ditterline, Thomas Faust in London. Chuck Hudspeth, he's in the Northeast. I don't want to say where. He's on the East Coast. He's on a southern state. He owns a tobacco plantation. Chuck Hudspeth. Adriana DeRuse. Fuck yeah, Rick Wellbanks, the brilliant Liana Dixon, the lovely Paul Pepper, the fantastic Todd Rush, and our great friend Manny Garcia. All of you are Patreon donors, and all of you are welcome in my house anytime you want to stop by. You want to drop, because again, you bought it. You bought that fucking house, and that's what the Joker said. It's an expensive suit. You ought to know, you bought it. I can't do Heath Ledger, but I have a 1-bedroom apartment all of you have paid for. Good for you. And you pay for it every goddamn month. You're the best. So anybody who wants to donate to Patreon and join them and get yourself thrown into this ridiculously foolish roll call every month. I should say everybody's name every month, shouldn't I? So and I should warn them what show it will be so they can just fucking turn it off and not listen. Thank you, everybody who has donated to the Patreon. I hope you will step up. More people join them. That'd be pretty cool because, man, you are absolutely making it possible for me to do what I want to do for my life, and I do appreciate it very much. So go ahead and jump on board and get me to your town, man. If you're a Patreon person, again, I'll give you first crack. You give me a city, I'll find a place. Once I get over a certain amount, and I'll come there. I'll do shows. I have a city in mind right now that I'd like to get to this summer, but who knows? We'll see. I got to send some emails.
What city?
Well, Kansas City, possibly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are you going to Kansas City?
Well, Kansas City, here I come. So I have a lead there, so we'll see what happens.
You do have a lead in Kansas City?
Kind of. Well, everything's up to date in Kansas
Are we
City.
going to do it?
I'm going to get the Surrey with the fringe on top.
Can we do it? Can we do your show one night and my show the next?
If you can organize that, go ahead and let me know. That would be fine. But
Okay. If I book the show, will you pay for both of our airfares?
I don't know. Let's figure out. Well, because again, you'll pay for the theater.
No, I'm not paying for anything.
Okay. Well, you just then no. Fuck that. That's not happening.
Here's the thing: if you pay for all of the upfront out of all this Kuwaiti, not Kuwaiti, all this
Patreon money. Yeah, I don't have that much yet.
But then I can go with you. We can do 2 shows, sell tickets to both of them, and then you get money back.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get money back. That's the thing.
You
Who
don't
knows?
think we can sell 2 shows out?
I don't know. That's what I'm
show and
saying.
my show?
When I went to Kansas City last time, it went very well. I was in the basement of a coffee house, and I wound up getting I think I had 35, 40 people there. That was pretty cool, and I did good.
$1 million a ticket, we're gonna do great.
Anyway, tickets would be $20. You know what I mean? At least for my show. I don't know what they are for
40,
yours.
and they can have both shows.
Yeah, but so what? Are you going to go on after me? You're going to go the next fucking night? Like what?
What do? We'll figure this out. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, this is a great fucking planning session online now. So people are just like, oh, I can't wait to hear about that. And then it's going to disappear into the ether. They go, why didn't you come to Kansas City? And I'm like, I don't know.
We're gonna go to Kansas City. We're gonna make it. We're gonna book it all before we go have dinner.
That's not happening. I want to do that. But again, you're telling me to outlay cash that I right now, and it depends on the theater owner, what they want and how it's going to work. And now I'm buying your airfare. That's a little, so now I'm in $1,000 just for this fucking week already. And who knows if we're going to make that back in ticket sales.
What is the point of this?
I know, but if I go, I'm lean. I pay for the theater. I pay for my airfare and whatever the fuck I got to do. And then that.
I got a place to stay.
Where are you staying?
Where do you think?
in my room? All right. So all you people who do Patreon, thank you. And please, everybody join her for more Patreon stuff. And that's pretty cool. Or join us or join them or join the world. I wanted to do this. This was going to be a lean show. Like I decided I'm going to make this. I'm not joking. I was like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do an hour and we'll make it happen. And then we'll get out of there. And even the first half of this, I think was only like an hour. I just looked down. We're at fucking 2 hours and 10 minutes again.
Oh my god.
This is like 4 in a row. I got to get lean, man. People don't want to listen to me for that fucking long. All right. So all that stuff's cool. And I'm looking into cities. And now that the cat's out of the bag, if you think, let's put it this way. If you're in Kansas City or around there and you would come to a show, let me know. And if you would buy tickets to see both me and Lily's shows in Kansas City, let me know. Because I would not be averse to that. It's just a matter of if it makes fucking sense. Because if we go out there and the whole fucking traveling circus goes out there.
When are you looking at going?
August. That was my thinking. Because I have to. Because here's why. First week of July is eaten up. All right. Because I'll be honest with you. Ahmad is here the first week of July. And he and I are hanging out while he's in town. And then I am really planning on going to Philadelphia the first week of July to go to this game. And I made a mistake, by the way. Hey, somebody wrote me on Facebook, and I don't want to say her name because I don't know if she wants me to say her name. But she wrote me, and she's just like, oh my God, when is this game? And which I have to be honest with you. After last week's episode, it made me laugh that someone would just write me and go, hey, when's that game you talked about? And I'm like, I don't remember talking about a game this week, but I'm glad you're asking.
Are you going with them? Are they going to go with you? Is that why they wrote?
No, I don't think so. I think she just wanted to know when it was. It is Jennifer. Jennifer wrote me and she's just like, when's this game? And literally that's all she wrote on Facebook. When's this game? And I go, hi, Jennifer, what game? And then she's like, the Phillies game. And I didn't answer her yet. But I made a mistake. I said it was the 1980 Phillies. It's the 1983 Phillies, which still contains Mike Schmidt, which still makes me happy. But the Phillies are all wearing throwbacks, whatever the fuck. So my plan is to be in Philadelphia that weekend to go to both of those games. So if you guys are on board for that, anybody want to go hang out at the games?
Why are we waiting until August? Why aren't we going in?
Because I have to make money. I drive to make money. So the first week of July is dead. So I can't go another.
Why are we going in June?
Why would we go in fucking June? I mean, we're not. I'm not because of money. You just told me I got to pay $1,000 to fly us out there and everything else. I don't. Right now, it's a bit of a coin flip.
Let me put a hold on a theater. We'll start selling tickets, and if we can sell enough tickets to make it work, we'll do it in June.
All right, Business Lily is taking over, and that's fine. I mean, if you think it'll work,
I want to book it and do it. So
I want to book it in August because it gives me 3 months to make some fucking money.
Can't go in August.
Oh, that's why you're doing it. It's not because I'm putting it off. It's because you can't go. Hey man, if you think June will work, that's fine. I'm serious. I'll try it, but I mean, I don't know what the money's going to look like. You got to talk to the theater owner. You know her, I don't very well. You've got the in, I don't. I mean, all right, look, I'll just say, this is the fucking theater owner I wrote a note to 5 months ago, and she never answered me back, even though she's booking, whatever the fuck. I don't want to get into it.
We'll get it.
Whatever. So if that's a possibility, we'll come out to Kansas City. And so let me know if you're out there, tell us if you'll come to the show. And I mean, I guess if we're going to put the tickets on sale, then you can fucking just buy a ticket. That you don't have to send me an email. But whatever. I will do that if it's feasible, if it makes sense. And again, I have no overhead. I fucking show up, I got a shirt on, and I tell some jokes, and I fucking leave. Tell some stories and bail. But then you've got to get the whole fucking rigmarole going on. You got to get the big top lit up and the chicks, and you got to get their labias on the fucking plane and everything else. We're going to fly chicks out from here? Because I can't pay for that.
I have friends there.
All right. Hi. I think I should probably breathe at this point.
You might.
So go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com while we're talking about this, and go to the Joe Business page, and if you want, first of all, so join the Patreon page. That would be cool. And everybody who joins, it's a step closer to me coming to your town and getting to tell you thank you in person. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, Joe Business page. There's all sorts of shirts. There's all sorts of downloads. There's all sorts of cool stuff. The live stuff is there. Word Pimp Schmitty and the Misanthropic Gangster is available. And then, of course, the Heroes album, which Mex did and is fantastic. Yurt Dirt Dirt shirts have not been turned into quilts just yet. Yurt Dirt Dirt. So if you want a shirt, go ahead and grab it. We've got the download sets available if you don't want to just listen to them at YouTube and you want to take them all around with you. That's fantastic. And then we've got what else is there? The Amazon link. That's very important. Let's talk about the Amazon link real quick. It is going very well. You guys do very well and help me out. And that also helps me to get to come to your cities and pay my rent and live. So thank you so much for using the Amazon link. Click on the Amazon link. You wind up in our store, which I should probably renovate or erase. And then you click the real Amazon. And you go and buy some cool stuff, and we get a taste of it. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. You know how it works. So thank you so much for supporting the Amazon link. And again, that costs you nothing. That just costs you 2 thumb clicks. And then you're going to buy whatever the fuck you're going to buy anyway, and then we get a cut of it. And thank you so much because it keeps the show afloat. You're super cool to think of us. Now, let's talk about this. We have a sponsor for this week's show. And we have another sponsor for this week's show.
What?
Exactly. Let's talk about our first sponsor, the one who got grandfathered in, the one who's been there forever, the one who is a Patreon donor. That's our great friend, Jerome. Who runs GetTheButters.com. As I've mentioned, bombs and balms and butters and lubes and everything else you could possibly gain to go ahead and stick your fingers in and then put them inside yourself. Slick your fingers up with lube or balms or butters or balls or everything and then slide them up inside you. Slide them down your throat, slide them in your ear, put them in any other hole that's open. But go ahead and go to getthebutters.com and buy a lube, buy a balm, buy a butter, buy a balm, and be happy. Buy a sea salt scrub. Buy a Hawaiian avocado oil mask, a facial mask. I don't know if he has those. Buy some sort of lavender scented shampoo coupled with a wild hyacinth scented body wash. Not sure if he has those, but still, you can request those products, and I'm sure he'll make them because Jerome's the Tyler Durden of Michigan, and he's making all these fucking products. So go to getthebutters.com and buy a butter, buy a balm, buy a bomb, buy a lube. And lube up that ball and wrap it in a balm and then pour it in a butter and then just go ahead and jam it up inside yourself. It's perfect. And leave it there all day. Take it to the office. Yeah, that's it. Lube up a bomb and then cover it with balm and butter and put it all the way up inside you. And, ladies, you've got a choice wherever you want to go. But, men, you know where it's going. And then just take it to work and have a little secret. You got a secret on everybody at that point. I got to admit, there's a very sexy, porn genre where girls put in, butt plugs, ass plugs, and they wear them out. And then they'll flip their dress up and the guy will take a photograph at a restaurant or out dancing or whatever. And it's sometimes they'll have the T-back thong over it and you can just see the chrome, the steel around it, it's in them. And the thong, oh yeah, there's just a lot there to unpack for me and why I like it so much, but holy fuck. It's just sexy. It's kind of submissive. It's kind of do what you're told. It's pretty fucking hot. So here's what I'm telling you guys. You want to bring a little of that in your own life? Then butter up a bomb and balm it up and lube it into your ass and then go to work and have your own little secret. And if you want to flash people, go right ahead. Go, hey, you have no idea. Right now I got a bomb in my ass. Take that.
And then you're arrested. Balm. I thought you said bomb in your ass.
So please go to Jerome and tell him, hey, man, I want to put stuff in my ass at work, and he'll hook you up. He's got a ton of stuff to do that. Now, our new sponsor.
What?
That's right. Look, folks, I run a podcast, and it's a very successful podcast. Nobody can argue with that. But it is a podcast nonetheless, so it seems odd for me to be taking on another podcast as a sponsor. But, out there are big shows. There are all these Earwolf networks. There's All Things Comedy. There's your Bill Burrs. There's your Graham Elwoods. There's your Pioneers. There's your Todd Glasses. There's your Scott Aukermans. There's all these people. There's your Jimmy Pardos. They are all part of the umbrella, under the umbrella of a protective company. They're all out there and they're surviving in the trenches, but they're doing it with the help of a huge network monolith behind them. Now, as you know, we keep it indie with Mike Schmidt. Why is that? Because I care about you, the listener. Why is that? Because nobody tells me what the fuck to do. Why is that? Because nobody's made an offer. So that is why we're keeping it indie with Mike Schmidt. If a Jesse Thorne were to call me and try to talk to me through his unbelievably ridiculous beard and say, hey, Mike, we want to scoop you up for the Max Fun Network, the phone call would never finish before I knocked on his fucking door. Like literally, I would drop the phone and it would be like zip, and a cloud of smoke, and then I'd be at his house like the Roadrunner, and I'd be like, yes, sign me up. So, but for right now, we're keeping it indie with Mike Schmidt. So I feel like I don't mind carrying the torch for other indie podcasts out there, particularly when they contact me and they go, dude, we want to advertise on your show. Well, of course you do. Why wouldn't you? This is keeping it indie with Mike Schmidt, and I just told everybody to shove something up their ass. You got to get on the ground floor of this. So I've been contacted by someone who hosts a podcast, and I'm going to give you the name of it right now, folks. This podcast is called The Paranoid Strain. Yeah, that's right. This is a show called The Paranoid Strain, and the host of said show is a gentleman by the name of Fearful Jesuit.
That seems ominous.
That may be phony. I don't know what to say. I will tell you this. I will not be taking a check from Fearful Jesuit. Strictly a cash operation. Or maybe go through the PayPal, sir. But Fearful Jesuit hosts a show called The Paranoid Strain. You're asking me what it's about. Well, it is I will tell you this. I listened to it.
Okay.
Now, would I have listened to it if I was not paid to do so? Probably not. I don't listen to this show. However, Fearful Jesuit was kind enough to make an offer and ask for my support and tell me that they're a fan of this show and they want to get some of you on board with their show. And I said, well, does this mean I have to listen to the fucking thing? And he said, I would really like that. In honesty, I don't know, because I said to him, I go, look, I don't know if I'm going to get you listener one, because I don't know what you do and I don't know if it's anything close to what I do. He goes, oh, it's nothing close to what you do. However, it's worth it to me to pay for the sponsorship to hear you talk about me and my show on your show. So technically, he doesn't expect you to fucking listen to this thing, and I don't blame him. But if you want to listen to some sort of creepy NPR type podcast about conspiracy theories that seems a little bit like Welcome to Night Vale-ish, remember that those guys were like, ooh, spooky and then whatever the fuck. Well, this is the show for you. I will tell you what, again, I listened to it, and it's a bit dry. He's doing a fantastic job. His voice is a million times better than mine. I don't know. And I will say this. I don't know if Fearful Jesuit is coming through you through a flange. I don't know if he has some sort of vocoder or voice box to alter it because he's afraid to be stalked and killed by the people he's talking about. He may be hiding his identity. He may be very Agent Scully. I don't know. But I know his voice is incredibly, is really rich in tone and deep. And well, that's the thing I was just going to mention. It's very NPR, where it's very much like this. Hi, I'm the Fearful Jesuit, or I'm Fearful Jesuit, not the Fearful Jesuit. And but it is a little soothing. And so, at the very least, folks, at the very least, you have white noise to sleep to when you hear this show.
There's a.
It is, even if you don't listen, you don't like it, you don't think to yourself, well, this isn't for me. Once you get past the theme song, the theme song. Once you get past that and into the meat of it and you hear real people talking, then you're like, I can get a nap to this motherfucker. Absolutely.
Does he have guests?
He does, as a matter of fact, this week. And part of the hook of it is, I think, like I said, I think Fearful Jesuit may be a fake name of some sort, a nom de plume, if you will. I think I said that earlier in the show. But a pen name, but without a pen. He is, but he had a guest on, and the best part is he introduces the guest as the guest's name, and he goes, but on this show he'll be known as this, and he gives them a fake name. And then if you think he made a mistake there, at the end he goes, okay, I want to thank again my guest, this person's name, or as we know him, da 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 da, and he gives him the fake name again. So I will tell you,
God, I hope you go on his show because I want to know what your favorite.
Well, I don't have anything to say that's interesting or entertaining, so he's not going to have me on his show. But it's a show, like I said, it's about conspiracy theories. It's a lot of stuff like this. I will tell you, there's 2 episodes up right now in your iTunes store. And it's not going to be an every week thing. I think it only comes out, I think 2 a month come out maybe, or I don't know exactly what the schedule is. I know what he and my advertising schedule is with him, and I know how long that contract runs. But, and it's until he chooses to cancel it. It's in perpetuity. You sign a deal with me, motherfucker. Guess what? I prepared your cell in hell and you can live there for as long as you like. But this guy has reached out, Fearful Jesuit, and said, I want to do this and I will let you know. So whatever, I have a schedule, but I'm just going to be telling you about this every week. And this is what he really wants. He wants you to listen. Okay. And I want my voice to stop whistling on S's. I don't know why the fuck that's happening right now, but he wants you to listen, but he really, really, because it's a new show. And as you know, podcasts, very difficult to start, very difficult to get anybody on board with listening. So if you want to give it a day in court on my recommendation, please know I'm being paid to tell you to do so. There's no doubt about that. But also, this guy's a cool guy. He's a great guy. He reached out and he didn't have to do this. And by supporting my show, I'd love to support his, and I'd love for you guys to try to support his. And if it's not for you, I totally get it. But he does really want ratings and reviews in the iTunes store. That was a point that he really kind of pushed to me, because that's what gets people, because it's grouped under, because it'll be grouped on, there's so much content out there. There's so many things. And I will say this again, like I said, regardless of whatever the content is and how I feel about it, it is an unbelievably professional show. Certainly more professional than this one. His voice is great. There's drops. There's real music. He has artwork. He's got all these people behind it. And next, like I said, there's 2 in the iTunes Store. Now, I listened to the debut episode, and then next week, they're going to break down the Elders of Zion and perhaps get into Henry Ford's connections with them. And so it's a little bit, and again, I've never listened to these shows, so please don't yell at me. It sounds a little Welcome to Night Vale because he's voice and he's kind of these hushed tones. It's looking at conspiracy theories from an interesting angle, and it's kind of got history in it, like maybe a Saving History or The Dollop. So he has he's researched these shows. He's pre-recorded things. It's not like me just flying off the seat of my pants and you telling it to shove something under your ass. He's done real research and he's telling you to shove something up your ass. So good for him. So Fearful Jesuit is the host of The Paranoid Strain. It is available in iTunes and the iTunes store right now. You can download it and give it a listen. And again, all we're asking you to do is try it and give a rating or a review in the iTunes store. If you want to subscribe and you turn out you like it, then that's cool. And if it's not for you, that's cool too. But this guy gets it. He reached out to me. He's like, look, I want to try to support your show and have you support mine and whatever. So please give The Paranoid Strain, Fearful Jesuit a chance if you can. We'd think it was great. And if you want to write me some feedback or write him, I think he's got an email address there. He has I don't want to give away that conceit. He did it in the first episode and it's his thing, so I don't want to give it away. But anyway, you can contact him, contact me, whatever. But Fearful Jesuit hosts The Paranoid Strain, available right now in the iTunes store. Go grab it because he likes me, so therefore we like him. And that's it, right? Is that all we got?
I think so.
Yeah, it seems like enough because we're already at fucking 2.5 goddamn hours again, which makes no fucking sense. I don't get it. But, that's the kind of thing that happens when you wind up sitting here talking and the world ends in the middle of your fucking break and you got to talk about politics for fucking 8 hours in between everything. And you think to yourself, well, it couldn't possibly get any worse. You know what? I almost want to I don't even want to end the show. I kind of want to take a break and then go check the phones and come back and go, well, Paris is burning. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's... Marine Le Pen has gone ahead and saddled up the army, and the gendarmes have swashbuckled in, and they've overthrown the government. And you know what? Vichy soir for everybody, motherfuckers. Cold potato soup. Go ahead and sip it because that's what's happening now in fucking France. It's weird that France would be the line in the sand for this because, again, you look a million years ago, France, France got date raped by every country in fucking Europe for a while, and now they fucking are the ones who go, yeah, no, we're not having this Russian bullshit anymore. Sorry, not happening. Last time, though, they were just like, oh, what are you, Germans? Who's that guy with the weird mustache? Yeah, there's a welcome mat. Come on in. Knock, knock. Who's there? Hitler. Hitler who? Do you guys have any cheese? We got plenty of cheese. Whoa. And he comes in. Next thing you know, that guy's hanging bodies off the fucking Eiffel Tower, and you guys are shivering in your berets. That's fucking terrible. But now, look at you. You stepped up. You drew your line in the sand, and you elected this guy, Marc Maron. Is that who's now the fucking president of France? I think Marc Maron's there. Hey, what the fuckers? Hey, what the Frenchies? Hey, what the Fantastics? Hey, what's going on out there? I'm going to sell some coffee to all of you for about an hour, and then we're going to talk to a guest, and that's going to be great. Don't fast forward through me. I fucking hate it when you do that. I even hate it worse when you tell me. There's nothing worse than Maron because trolls are assholes. So they're like, yeah, I love your show, but I always fast forward through you in the beginning. You're just being a cunt, and you know that Mark's workable, and you're going to go ahead and send it to him, and he's going to go, literally, he's just going to go Yosemite Sam on your ass. No!
Nagging someone on the internet?
Oh, shocking, right?
Oh my god.
And now that he's the president of France, imagine the shit they're going to give him. It's terrible. Hey, what the Francophiles? Hey, what the French fries? Hey, what's going on out there? Here's Marc Maron. All right, so... I want to see, he had Obama in the garage for a fucking interview. I want him to try to get Trump. I just want him to try to get Trump for the interview because you know what? I bet Trump's the kind of idiot president who would do that. Trump right now, he only got this job because he wanted to do Between Two Ferns. That's the only fucking reason he did it. Every day he's sitting in his office and he's like, this is amazing. This is beautiful. Has Zach Galifianakis called yet? And they're like, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to fire Jane Comey. All right, well. I'll tell you, you want to hook people in, get them halfway through a recipe and cut your fucking show in half. That's it. Do an hour about stew and then bail, get on a plane, and then come back and revisit it 2 days later, because that's the most important stew in the universe. Were there noodles or rice involved? Stay tuned!
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.